between these two teams, but I'm interested to see how Special Suicide Squad do over the general season and see who's going to come out on top between these two teams.
And definitely important match here to kick off the day. It'll kind of set the stage between these two squads. This will be a nice close one to start everything off for the region as well. So excited to see what changes, if any, they were able to make from last week until now, and see what they're ready to start the challenge season off with. The final piece of this entire puzzle is, of course, our picks and bans. And Brody, I said it before we started, we were getting a crossfire.
Yeah, actually, this is actually something that's important in this best of 5, right? Because the one map I was looking out for in this best of 5 would have been a takeoff control, because that was the one slip off that Hex had in open finals. It was a takeoff control, went all the way to round 5, and they actually messed up a round 5 defense versus No Name. Beyond that, they were pretty much perfect across the board. So for takeoff to not be in this best of 5, I think is interesting. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with Crossfire, it is just a very simple control map. There is a defensive spawn in which you can get spawn trapped very easily. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna see it here for sure.
This is exciting. This is exciting, guys. All right, I think this is going to be a great way to kick off the day. Hexad versus Special Suicide Squad. It is ready to go. Match number 1. So let's get into EU.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Excited to, well, dive headfirst into these EU games. I think for both these two squads, especially, it's a curious one, Brody, because I mean, like when we were talking about it beforehand, just slightly off air there, and what we were expecting heading into this one, it definitely feels like, you know, Animus are the team to beat still. We have kind of seen that. Exclusive in Queens, well, I mean, but that way we're not going to get to see a great deal until we see exclusive obviously later as well. But Queens obviously were a roster who did not make it through, I should say. But then let's see how everybody else is going to kind of play out, because still, like, for all that we have Animus towards the top, after that I'm still not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so difficult, right? Because you do, obviously, you have exclusive in that conversation. Honestly, I think taking Vanquish away from that conversation at this point would be a very foolish thing to do, just given like kind of the power rankings of how things went in open finals, right? Where Vanquish were the team to eliminate Queens. Obviously, we knew that Queens have been able to consistently take out exclusive, not just here, but also in UEC as well. So you almost have this power ranking where Vanquish have to be in the conversation for the top spot, but Animus are undoubtedly currently the kings of the hill in Europe. As I said, there is a lot of fresh blood on the board, and none fresher than the Special Squad themselves. This is a roster I did get to cast over in UEC. They were playing under the name Severity at the time, but the roster itself was exactly the same. So you've got a team here that have not made any changes really beyond adding a couple of players to the roster as substitutes coming into this season of the Snapdragon Pro Series. And that, I think, really can benefit teams, because we have those conversations about roster changes all the time, right, Tom, where teams will make kind of gung-ho roster changes and end up roster changing themselves into oblivion. SSS haven't done that. They've stuck with the same roster, and I think that's going to benefit them coming into this matchup.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just like, it's not endemic just to COD Mobile as far as roster changes go. We'd like to see teams really do, if they can, stick it out with each other and work on what's going wrong or what's going right. We do often see them kind of benefit the rewards of that consistency, keeping that roster known exactly what everybody is doing. Right now, though, things very, very tight between these two squads. Nobody able to really gain an advantage, or much of one, I should say, as we head over towards P2. Daytal will be the first one here. Currently for Hexad, doesn't have a lot of help yet. Cabana and Mobbingly will start to find a couple of kills themselves, though, so the pressure going to start coming through, and that should be plenty of kills coming through for Special Suicide Squad. Really good job from their side of things, but on the other side, Hexad trying to find a way through. Bit of a 50-50 so far. 45 seconds still to play for P2.
Yeah, and interestingly right now, Hexad are trying to fight this one from the front. This isn't, generally speaking, something you see that often, but they are winning the vast majority of the gunfights. SSS trying to fight their way through, and Moby's going to be one of these players that you've got to keep an eye on. He was a top performer, again, not just in open finals, but also during UECE, as was Chuso for the SSS side. So these players you're going to be constantly wanting to keep an eye on, but right now it is SSS that have managed to brute force their way in through the front of this hard point. Split spawns now starting to come in from Hexad with 20 seconds left. That's still enough time to actually hit it, but with those 3 or 4 kills coming through from SSS here, Ton, it is most certainly going to be a rotation now from Hexad. They might send a couple of players, but it's not going to be a heavy investment anymore. I actually love this from SSS on the whole as well. They've already started to kind of somewhat invest in the rotation as well.
I think this is the thing, is time is kind of going on with the side of the operators. The earlier you invest them, the earlier you get them back, right? So if you're going to get them first, heading over towards P2, get them in there and just secure it. Right now, Hexad are doing things on the other side, though, and securing P3 rotation. A little bit of a more difficult one to hold down. Maybe not if the equalizers are out from Fayaz. He will find a few over towards his backside, and that's now the spawns secured. Hexad know exactly where everybody else is coming from. Now this is the perfect time to bring in the War Machine. Oh, but also from the other side, Cuban can bring his in. Damage is now being done. It was Chuso who found it, but Cuban is there with the 2 kills coming through anyway. Really nice job from Special Suicide Squad, and that's the difference between just one decent shot coming out of the War Machine and on the other side, the other hitting nothing.
Yeah, we talk about those operators so often here in Call of Duty Mobile, folks. If you do not get your operators right, it can land you in a world of trouble. Utilizing the equalizers and the War Machine to not that great effect for Hexad. That is going to be a damning thing moving forward. On the other side, you saw Mary there with the equalizers getting a couple of frags. Now Purify moving out from Secret as well. This has been a solid investment from this game so far from the Special Suicide Squad. Was that 2 or 3 operators coming out on that hard point? Now you've still got 1 more in the back pocket ready to go for a new, but it is going to be Hexad touching first. But what is this kind of setup here from Hexad on the rotation? They have players leaning towards garden side to try and with some threat on the rotation. They leave open, well, completely open. Secret just flies through, picks up 1 player, and all of a sudden this hard point is now the SSS control.
Special Squad has done sensational to find a way through, but you're right, Hexad seemingly leaving the door wide open. Mobbingly couldn't find one with the Gravity Vortex gun. Amari and Secret combining well, though. USS then still working brilliantly for the side of Special Suicide Squad. Nerves be damned. They did try to slow it down, I promise. Secret now inside of the point, just trying to do what he can. The rest of the team on their way back. Imagines has done sensational, though. Somehow 3 of them do line up, and Daytel will be there with the Purifier just to clean up shop. But the problem for Hexad is that we're heading into the second rotation in 15 seconds here, and already 50 seconds behind. You could do with this scrap time. It doesn't look like you're gonna get it. So that's a really nice rotation of hills coming through from Special Suicide Squad. And look at the guy leading the show. It's gonna be Chuso. 23 kills to his name through 1 rotation. It's a hell of a way to start your challenge season. Sensational work from Special Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and it just feels like hill after hill right now. Triple S have broken in and gotten time away that Hexad frankly haven't really been able to get a hold of. What is this, 3 hills in a row now where we've seen key breaks coming through from SSS and not a lot in terms of breaking back from Hexad. So you're now starting to see them spinning their wheels a little bit, even to the point now where it's investment coming out on P1 from the likes of Gore and Anai on this hard point to try and take some time away from SSS and crucially get some time themselves. And that, I think, goes to show the desperation of Hexad right now in the play, because even off the back of that Annihilator, you're losing the gunfight in the middle of this map. Even right now, you are giving up time to the Special Suicide Squad. This has not been a good hard point for them so far.
Yeah, it's about the balance when it comes down to operators, right? Do you want to bring it in so you can get it in quicker, or do you want to be then able to use it on a more important hill? But P1 has become, I want to say over time, a little bit more feasible at picking up some decent time, especially Suicide Squad showing that out now. Looking towards the operators 2-piece as we do head over to what is the glorified, the famous P2 on Hacienda, who's going to be there to find the majority of the kills, while Chuso doesn't need anything but his gunny. The Odin is out, and this man is frying with it. Aim down sight, shoot straight, you'll find the kills. Special Suicide Squad set up on the water side, expecting the push to come in from the lower side as well. The call out will be made. There's one still pushing water. He should be dead to rights because Chuso is here along with Secret. Now everybody else spawned the other side. You've got plenty coming in from Special Suicide Squad to buff this attack that's about to come in from Hexad. Amari equalizers out. This is going to be tough.
Now, trying to just burn through everybody right now, pre-firing through the smoke. We'll only find 1. It's okay, though, because the War Machine from Chuso is ready to go. Still 1 player to be dealt with inside the hard point. It's going to be a posthumous kill. Actually, no, it will not. Fayaz is able to go all the way through with the equalizers and will actually find some serious value with it. That is 3 kills for Kim. Fayaz now just turning through everybody off the spawn. Another 1 to boot. That's 6 now for Fayaz. The equalizers doing what the equalizers do. Hexad now looking for some time off the back of that investment, almost immediately coming out, and again, it's desperation plays from Hexad. You are currently trailing by 50 to 60 points. That lead advantage built up over the course of the first set for the Special Suicide Squad, and Hexad are throwing everything at closing that deficit out. Now we move over towards defense's hard point. It is going to be SSS here once again, but we know this hill can be mixy.
Well, as we head over towards P3, though, just consider what was found by Hexad there. What they managed to get them, what, 30 seconds or so off the back of Fayaz's equalizers that come out. SSS were the ones in control of that. If you give them that 30 seconds, they are all of a sudden 120 points in the lead. You balance that out, and now it's not much in it, right? 40 or 50 seconds is all that separates these two teams. More like 30 actually as well. Master's not working too well today. SSS trying to find a way back through though. And having a look at it, they did have a couple of operators available. Cuban now has his ready to go, but so does Daytel. Right now, Hexad have used that momentum so well. Mirage will line up just about 4 players to take down. And now all of a sudden it's going to be a difficult push here for SSS, and the investment has been made on occasion from them, but not for a great deal. It's about the efficiency that you find with your operators. Plenty of efficiency from Hexad over the last 2 hills, and that's put them within spitting distance of SSS now as we head over towards P4.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, I think that the reactions from SSS here have been kind of lacking, right? I think we've seen kind of Hexad playing in a very flailing fashion. As I said, they are sending everything almost as soon as they get it at the hard point to take control. And that's something, generally speaking, that you should be able to see teams exploit. SSS aren't doing that right now. They're playing very individualistically. They're not trying to play as a squad whatsoever. And if they start to tighten up a little bit, I think they should be able to take control of this game once again. Now investment starting to come out from SSS. You've got the Gravity Vortex gun and the Sparrow in play. Cuban will find a couple of kills, but Hexad, they are knocking at the door, Tom.
They very much are. Cuban, one of those kills he found was actually Gore, who had his Annihilator out, but it's worth noting that they haven't necessarily been used quite as well from Hexad over the last 30 seconds or so when it comes down to these operators. And Amari has his equalizers out. This is just a horrible push to try and do against any gunfight. Never mind when the equalizer's out and spraying away. Shots over towards the outside. Hasn't seen the other player. Will eventually fall down. So there you go. Special Suicide Squad being put under a little bit of pressure now. Hexad trying to find a way through. They can do through Daytel, and Fayaz a really solid job, but Chuso is consistently there. 37 kills to his name through 2 rotations. And as we head into the second rotation, it's kind of the same old story, Brody. Special Suicide Squad still with a chunky lead heading into a 3rd rotation. Hexad did threaten, but not threaten enough.
And I think it has to be said, right, that is only off the back of the last hard point that this lead is still in existence, right? Hexad did close the deficit down to about 10 to 20 points, and the fact that they don't really get anything of value off that last rotation down to phenomenal plays from the likes of Omari and Chuso is the reason that the Special Suicide Squad are still in control at this point in time. Hexad, though, now in control of P1. Smokes down to try and find some coverage. Fayaz now pre-firing the doorway for some easy pick and frags. Hexad, they can get a lot of time here and can start to push through. Fayaz is trying to do exactly that, but that is a big shutdown coming through from Chuso. That's going to enable Special Suicide Squad away back in.
Special Suicide Squad, everything that Chuso seems to be doing. If he pops off, if he finds a couple of kills, sets them up well. Having a really good game here against a strong opposition as well. Big gunfight win from Daytel though. And that's the experience on the side of Hexad that they really do need to find here. Over towards this next hill. War Machine is going to be available for the side of Chuso, but that's all you really have to use here. The rest of the gunfight's kind of going your way momentarily. Here comes the War Machine. Chuso still going. Mirage can find one shot on the Cuban, and Mirage is now just going to try and lock it down from the other side. Chuso pushing in from the water. Big moments when it talks about the generic game here. P2 is a massive one. Chuso can find very little. The rest of his team falling as well, trying to do it all on his own. He will get shut down. Good hold from Hexad momentarily, but SSS find a way through, but only momentarily because Fayaz is there. He will find 3. It's back and forth, Brody.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was a good play from Chuso, right? I mean, fundamentally speaking, what he was trying to do was trying to provide some coverage so Secret could come through the front door, pick up a couple of kills, but Chuso goes down, Secret not able to do anything, and Hexad are able to hold, but only for so long because the Special Suicide Squad are knocking at the door once again. Back spawns for them here. This is a 20 seconds worth fighting for if you're SSS for the leader's advantage that you have built up. You're winning the trades as well. Chuso for a couple of kills, and you are taking this time away from Hexad. But now the question becomes, was that push worth a weaker push towards the rotation? Because Mirage is there, waiting for these players to come off the spawn. Hexad's here, not quite in control just yet, as SSS have players in this direction. That's a big kill from Secret.
Yeah, that is big. You can now go with the cutoffs as well. Keep an eye on what's going to go over towards Office. Daytel's found one over towards that side. He does get taken down. The trades are there. Secret though, finding a few. And now all of a sudden this is a dangerous position for Hexad to be in. There's a couple operators available. Mirage will somehow find that kill. Fayaz with the operators out as well. He's going to see what he can do with the equalizer here. Last time these were out, he's seen a lot of value. There's another kill going to come through. Fayaz on 47. That one slipped under my radar, at least anyway, but Special Suicide Squad still relatively close. Amari's going to bring in his own equalizer on the point, trying to hold this down. SSS coming in from the well side. They are 10 seconds away.
And SSS now starting to play a lot more formulated. Got players in all the right positions to deal with Hexad here, but they are going to get overwhelmed. Hexad will get overwhelmed. Hexad will get a look. 18 seconds left. Still enough time for the Special Suicide Squad. Advantage, and that leader's advantage never really fully felt like it ever went back in Hexad's favor. And as I said, you know, it was the fact that SSS are able to walk into the hard point 3 or 4 times consecutively, break for 40 seconds worth of time, whereas Hexad are only getting the first 20 or so, if that. But as I said, I mean, Hexad, they do a pretty good job, right?
Is of course our picks.
Plays from the likes of Omari and
Ascension here, ton specifically Gore with some really nice stats.
Yeah, I mean, Hexad were a team that really impressed us throughout the entirety of the Open Finals. We got to see them a couple of times, and yeah, very, very solid. I think, you know, when we do talk about this matchup specifically, this should be a really interesting one because we were expecting big things of both these two teams, but with the route that they kind of have taken, we get to see them go up against each other pretty much straight away. Just a reminder for everybody at home, Special Suicide Squad are the former X-Guns roster that we got to see through Open Finals last week. So this is a matchup that we kind of anticipated that is going to be pretty decent, but we also don't really know what to expect. We've seen both these two teams kind of impress. We're going to talk about the other roster in a second as well, but we've seen them impress throughout the Open Finals. But did we see them up against each other? No, we did not. So it's going to be interesting to see how this roster is going to go down. But this is Special Suicide Squad: Amari, Secret, Chuso, Mobbingly, Cuban, and Caruso. For me, I was impressed with their teamwork. I thought, you know, every single time that we were on board with them, it did seem as if everything's very cohesive. They seem to be efficient with their operators, which for me is still the number one thing for a team when it does come down to COD Mobile. So yeah, let's see how it's going to go down between these two teams. But I'm interested to see how Special Suicide Squad do over the general season, and see who's going to come out on top between these two teams.
And definitely important match here to kick off the day. It'll kind of set the stage between these two squads. This will be a nice close one to start everything off for the region as well. So excited to see what changes, if any, they were able to make from last week until now, and see what they're ready to start the challenge season off with. The final piece of this entire puzzle is, of course, our picks and bans. And Brody, I said it before we started, we were getting a crossfire.
Yeah, actually, this is actually something that's important in this best of 5, right? Because the one map I was looking out for in this best of 5 would have been a takeoff control, because that was the one slip off that Hex had in Open Finals. It was a takeoff control, went all the way to round 5, and they actually messed up a round 5 defense versus No Name. Beyond that, they were pretty much perfect across the board. So for takeoff to not be in this best of 5, I think is interesting. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with Crossfire, it is just a very simple control map. There is a defensive spawn in which you can get spawn trapped very easily. If you haven't seen it, you're gonna see it here for sure.
This is exciting. This is exciting, guys. All right, I think this is going to be a great way to kick off the day. Hexad versus Special Suicide Squad. It is ready to go. Match number 1. So let's get into EU.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Excited to, well, dive headfirst into these EU games. I think for both these two squads, especially, it's a curious one, Brody, because I mean, like when we were talking about it beforehand, just slightly off air, that and what we were expecting heading into this one, it definitely feels like, you know, Animus are the team to beat still. We have kind of seen that. Exclusive in Queens, well, I mean, but we're not going to get to see a great deal until we see exclusive obviously later as well. But Queens obviously were a roster who did not make it through, I should say. But then let's see how everybody else is going to kind of play out, because still, like, for all that we have Animus towards the top, after that I'm still not 100% sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's so difficult, right? Because you do obviously you have exclusive in that conversation. Honestly, I think taking Vanquish away from that conversation at this point would be a very foolish thing to do, just given like kind of the power rankings of how things went in open finals, right? Where Vanquish were the team to eliminate Queens. Obviously, we knew that Queens have been able to consistently take out exclusive, not just here, but also in UEC as well. So you almost have this power ranking where Vanquish have to be in the conversation for the top spot, but Animus are undoubtedly currently the kings of the hill in Europe. As I said, there is a lot of fresh blood on the board, and none fresher than the special squad themselves. This is a roster I did get to cast over in UEC. They were playing under the name Severity at the time, but the roster itself was exactly the same. So you've got a team here that have not made any changes really beyond adding a couple of players to the roster as substitutes coming into this season of the Snapdragon Pro Series. And that, I think, really can benefit teams, because we have those conversations about roster changes all the time, right, Tom, where teams will make kind of gung-ho roster changes and end up roster changing themselves into oblivion. SSS haven't done that. They've stuck with the same roster, and I think that's going to benefit them coming into this matchup.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is just like, it's not endemic just to COD Mobile as far as roster changes go. We like to see teams really do, if they can, stick it out with each other and work on what's going wrong or what's going right. We do often see them kind of benefit the rewards of that consistency, keeping that roster, knowing exactly what everybody is doing. Right now, though, things are very tight between these two squads. Nobody able to really gain an advantage, or much of one, I should say, as we head over towards P2. Daytel will be the first one here. Currently for Hexad, doesn't have a lot of help yet. Cabana and Mobbingly will start to find a couple of kills themselves, though, so the pressure going to start coming through, and that should be plenty of kills coming through for Special Suicide Squad. Really good job from their side of things, but on the other side, Hexad trying to find a way through. Bit of a 50-50 so far. 45 seconds still to play for P2.
Yeah, and interestingly right now, Hexad are trying to fight this one from the front. This isn't, generally speaking, something you see that often, but they are winning the vast majority of the gunfights. SSS trying to fight their way through, and Moby's going to be one of these players that you've got to keep an eye on. He was a top performer, again, not just in open finals, but also during UECE, as was Chuso for the SSS side. So any players you're going to be constantly wanting to keep an eye on, but right now it is SSS that have managed to brute force their way in through the front of this hard point. Split spawns now starting to come in from Hexad with 20 seconds left. That's still enough time to actually hit it with those 3 or 4 kills coming through from SSS here, Ton. It is most certainly going to be a rotation now from Hexad. They might send a couple of players, but it's not going to be a heavy investment anymore. I actually love this from SSS on the whole as well. They've already started to kind of somewhat invest in the rotation as well.
I think this is the thing, is time is kind of going on with the side of the operators. The earlier you invest them, the earlier you get them back, right? So if you're going to get them first, heading over towards P2, get them in there and just secure it. Right now, Hexad are doing things on the other side, though, and securing P3 rotation. A little bit of a more difficult one to hold down. Maybe not if the equalizers are out from Fayaz. He will find a few over towards his backside, and that's now the spawns secured. Hexad know exactly where everybody else is coming from. Now this is the perfect time to bring in the War Machine. Oh, but also from the other side, Cuban can bring his in. Damage is now being done. It was Chuso who found it, but Cuban is there with the 2 kills coming through anyway. Really nice job from Special Suicide Squad, and that's the difference between just one decent shot coming out of the War Machine, and on the other side, the other hitting nothing.
Yeah, we talk about those operators so often here in Call of Duty Mobile, folks. If you do not get your operators right, it can land you in a world of trouble. Utilizing the equalizers and the War Machine to not that great effect for Hexad. That is going to be a damning thing moving forward. On the other side, you saw a Mary there with the equalizers getting a couple of frags. Now Purify moving out from Secret as well. This has been a solid investment from this game so far from the Special Suicide Squad. Was that 2 or 3 operators coming out on that hard point? Now you've still got one more in the back pocket ready to go for a new, but it is going to be Hexad touching first. But what is this kind of setup here from Hexad on the rotation? They have players leaning towards garden side to try and with some prep on the rotation. They leave open, well, completely open. Secret just flies through, picks up one player, and all of a sudden this hard point is now the SSS control.
Special Squad have done sensational to find a way through, but you're right, Hexad seemingly leaving the door wide open. Mobbingly couldn't find one with the Gravity Vortex gun. Amari and Secret combining well, though. USS then still working brilliantly for the side of Special Suicide Squad. Nerves be damned. We did try to slow it down, I promise. Secret Now inside of the point, just trying to do what he can. The rest of the team on their way back. Imagines is done sensational, though. Somehow 3 of them do line up, and Daytel will be there with the Purifier just to clean up shop. But the problem for Hexad is that we're heading into the second rotation in 15 seconds here, and already 50 seconds behind. You could do with this scrap time. It doesn't look like you're going to get it. So that's a really nice rotation of hills coming through from Special Suicide Squad. And look at the guy leading the show. It's going to be Chuso. 23 kills to his name through 1 rotation. It's a hell of a way to start your challenge season. Sensational work from Special Suicide Squad.
Yeah, and it just feels like hill after hill right now. Triple S have broken in and gotten time away that Hexad, frankly, haven't really been able to get a hold of. What is this, 3 hills in a row now? We've seen key breaks coming through from SSS and not a lot in terms of breaking back from Hexad. So you're now starting to see them spinning their wheels a little bit, even to the point now where it's investment coming out on P1 from the likes of Gore and Anai on this hard point to try and take some time away from SSS and, crucially, get some time themselves. And that, I think, goes to show the desperation of Hexad right now in the play, because even off the back of that Annihilator, you're losing the gunfight in the middle of this map. Even right now, you are giving up time to the Special Suicide Squad. This has not been a good hard point for them so far.
Yeah, it's about the balance when it comes down to operators, right? Do you want to bring it in so you can get it in quicker, or do you want to be then able to use it on a more important hill? But P1 has become, I want to say over time, a little bit more feasible at picking up some decent time, especially Suicide Squad showing that out now. Looking towards the operators 2-piece as we do head over to what is the glorified, the famous P2 on Hacienda, who's going to be there to find the majority of the kills, while Chuso doesn't need anything but his gunny. The Odin is out, and this man is frying with it. Aim down sight, shoot straight, you'll find the kills. Special Suicide Squad set up on the water side, expecting the push to come in from the lower side as well. The call out will be made. There's one still pushing water. He should be dead to rights because Chuso is here along with Secret. Now everybody else spawn the other side. You've got plenty coming in from Special Suicide Squad to buff this attack that's about to come in from Hexad. Amari equalizers out. This is going to be tough.
Yeah, trying to just burn through everybody right now, pre-firing through the smoke. We'll only find one. It's okay, though, because the War Machine from Chuso is ready to go. Still one player to be dealt with inside the hard point. It's going to be a posthumous kill. Actually, no, it will not. Fayaz is able to go all the way through with the equalizers, and we'll actually find some serious value with it. That is 3 kills again. Fayaz now just churning through everybody off the spawn. Another one to boot. That's 6 now for Fayaz. The equalizers doing what the equalizers do. Hexad now looking for some time off the back of that investment, almost immediately coming out. And again, it's desperation plays from Hexad. You are currently trailing by 50 to 60 points. That leader's advantage built up over the course of the first set for the Special Suicide Squad. And Hexad are throwing everything at closing that deficit out. Now we move over towards the fence's hard point. It is going to be SSS here once again, but we know this hill can be mixy.
Well, as we head over towards P3, though, just consider what was found by Hexad there. What they managed to get them, what, 30 seconds or so off the back of Fayaz's equalizers that come out. SSS were the ones in control of that. If you give them that 30 seconds, they are all of a sudden 120 points in the lead. You balance that out, and now it's not much in it, right? 40 or 50 seconds is all that separates these two teams. More like 30, actually, as well. Master's not working too well today. SSS trying to find a way back through, though. And having a look at it, they did have a couple of operators available. Kuban now has his ready to go, but so does Daytel. Right now, Hexad have used that momentum so well. Mirage will line up just about 4 players to take down. And now all of a sudden it's going to be a difficult push here for SSS, and the investment has been made on occasion from them, but not for a great deal. It's about the efficiency that you find with your operators. Plenty of efficiency from Hexad over the last 2 hills, and that's put them within spitting distance of SSS now as we head over towards P4.
Yeah, and if I'm honest, I think that the reactions from SSS here have been kind of lacking, right? I think we've seen kind of Hexad playing in a very flailing fashion. As I said, they are sending everything almost as soon as they get it at the hard point to take control. And that's something, generally speaking, that you should be able to see teams exploit. SSS aren't doing that right now. They're playing very individualistically. They're not trying to play as a squad whatsoever. And if they start to tighten up a little bit, I think they should be able to take control of this game once again. Now investment starting to come out from SSS. You've got the Gravity Vortex gun and the Sparrow in play. Cuban will find a couple of kills, but Hexad, they are knocking at the door, Ton.
They very much are. Cuban, one of those kills he found was actually Gore, who had his Annihilator out, but it's worth noting that they haven't necessarily been used quite as well from Hexad over the last 30 seconds or so when it comes down to these operators. And Amari has his equalizers out. This is just a horrible push to try and do against any gunfight. Never mind when the equalizer's out and spraying away. Shots over towards the outside. Hasn't seen the other player. Will eventually fall down. So there you go. Special Suicide Squad being put under a little bit of pressure now. Hexad trying to find a way through. They can do through Daytal, and Fayaz a really solid job, but Chuso is consistently there. 37 kills to his name through 2 rotations. And as we head into the second rotation, it's kind of the same old story, Brody. Special Suicide Squad still with a chunky lead heading into a third rotation. Hexad did threaten, but not threaten enough.
And I think it has to be said, right, that it's only off the back of the last hard point that this lead is still in existence, right? Hexad did close the deficit down to about 10 to 20 points, and the fact that they don't really get anything of value off that last rotation down to phenomenal plays from the likes of Omari and Chuso is the reason that the Special Suicide Squad are still in control at this point in time. Hexad, though, now in control of P1. Smokes down to try and find some coverage. Fayaz now pre-firing the doorway for some easy pick and frags. Hexad, they can get a lot of time here and can start to push through. Fayaz is trying to do exactly that, but that is a big shutdown coming through from Chuso. That's going to enable Special Suicide Squad a way back in.
Special Suicide Squad, everything that Chuso seems to be doing. If he pops off, if he finds a couple of kills, sets them up well. Having a really, really good game here against a strong opposition as well. Big gunfight win from Daytal, though. And that's the experience on the side of Hexad that they really do need to find here. Over towards this next hill. War Machine is going to be available for the side of Chuso, but that's all you really have to use here. The rest of the gunfight's kind of going your way momentarily. Here comes the War Machine. Chuso still going. Mirage can find one shot on the Cuban, and Mirage is now just going to try and lock it down from the other side. Chuso pushing in from the water. Big moments when it talks about the generic game here. P2 is a massive one. Chuso can find very, very little. The rest of his team falling as well, trying to do it all on his own. He will get shut down. Good hold from Hexad momentarily, but SSS find a way through, but only momentarily because Fayaz is there. He will find 3. It's back and forth, Brody.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was a good play from Chuso, right? I mean, fundamentally speaking, what he was trying to do was trying to provide some coverage so Secret could come through the front door, pick up a couple of kills, but Chuso goes down, Secret not able to do anything, and Hexad are able to hold, but only for so long because the Special Suicide Squad are knocking at the door once again. Back spawns for them here. This is a 20 seconds worth fighting for if you're SSS with the leader's advantage that you have built up. You're winning the trades as well. Chuso for a couple of kills, and you are taking this time away from Hexad. But now the question becomes, was that push worth a weaker push towards the rotation? Because Mirage is there, waiting for these players to come off the spawn. Hexad here, not quite in control just yet as SSS have players in this direction. That's a big kill from Secret.
Yeah, that is big. We can now go with the cutoffs as well. Keep an eye on what's going to go over towards the office. Daytal's found one over towards that side. He does get taken down. The trades are there. Secret, though, finding a few. And now all of a sudden, this is a dangerous position for Hexad to be in. There's a couple of operators available. Mirage will somehow find that kill. Fayaz with the operators out as well. He's going to see what he can do with the equalizer here. Last time these were out, he's seen a lot of value. There's another kill going to come through. Fayaz on 47. That one slipped under my radar, at least anyway, but Special Suicide Squad still relatively close. Amari's going to bring in his own equalizer on the point, trying to hold this down. SSS coming in from the well side. They are 10 seconds away.
And SSS now starting to play a lot more formulated. Got players in all the right positions to deal with Hexad here, but they are going to get overwhelmed. Hexad will get a look. 18 seconds left. Still enough time for the Special Suicide Squad to get control of this hard point and close out this game. You haven't quite accounted for Mirage, who was sitting in the corner playing his life ever so perfectly, wasting enough time, and will find some kills to boot. So Hexad will survive another day, and SSS haven't fully rotated just yet. Fayaz has a lot to do by noon.
I mean, Mirage by name, Mirage by nature. How on earth was he not seen inside towards fences? Daytal purifiers out, but Chuso, he's been the guy for the side of SSS, and he's found 2. Cuban will find something as well with the Sparrow. That might just have called game. They find one way through. It's one good push, and they will call it 250 to 209. SSS will take map number 1. In, I don't want to say dominating fashion by any sense of the imagination, but they led for the majority. It's a comfortable game in the end. Hexad just couldn't really deal with them. You see one player in Fayaz that was able to find a decent amount with his operator in particular, but other than that, it just felt like SSS were chipping away consistently, always finding 20 or 30 on every single hill, and just making it exceedingly difficult for the side of Hexad to get anything done.
Yeah, it was those first 4 hard points, I think, that was so damaging, right? And granted, I think Hexad did manage to make a pretty solid comeback into that game, but by the end of the first set, we were staring down the barrel of a 50 to 60 point advantage, and that leader's advantage never really fully felt like it ever went back in Hexad's favor. And as I said, you know, it was the fact that SSS are able to walk into the hard point 3 or 4 times consecutively, break for 40 seconds worth of time, whereas Hexad are only getting the first 20 or so, if that. But as I said, I mean, Hexad, they do a pretty good job, right, of making their way back into the conversation midway through the game. And I think that was only by way of the fact that we saw those individual plays coming out with the operators. We saw an immediate follow-up of utilization of the streaks that you get off the back of that. This is that Fayaz play that I think almost single-handedly brought Hexad back into the conversation. But really beyond that, I think, again, as soon as SSS realized that they knew they had to play as a team in that game, it was lights out, game over. Of course, it also helps that Chuso was playing out of his mind. He was doing this in open finals without a shadow of a doubt of every player that everybody should be keeping an eye on here on this team.
Yep, those are some big boy numbers. Chuso kicking things off here on the bracket portion, the group stage portion, whatever you want to call it. A very, very nice start for the side of Special Suicide Squad in this hard point. And, you know, just remind everybody at home, X-Guns were the team who SSS now obviously picked up. And they looked fantastic. For me, you know, we were talking about it towards the end of the show in open finals for Europe specifically, and we were wondering, like, you know, who's kind of your favorites heading into this. I was never putting X-Guns as one of my favorites to obviously go into the season and win the entire thing, because I think Animus are going to be a hard pill to swallow really for anybody. But at the same time, I think they looked promising. They looked exciting. Every single time we were on board with them, it seems like they're making good plays. There are people who are putting up those numbers. There are those moments where they're able to turn a game. They seem to have some talent. So let's see how they're going to go and do throughout the majority of the season. It's a relatively long one. But, well, what was not long was the break. We're already over towards Kurahan. We'd love to say it. Shout out admin. Search and Destroy coming up for map number 2. Now an opportunity, potentially for Hexad to turn something around here. It's been a really good start by Special Suicide Squad, showing their prowess. Do they have it in the Search and Destroy as well? Well, this is an interesting, I think, look at this game number 2. A reminder that back in open finals, SSS, when they were X-Guns, lost just one map to Cantic Nation in their qualification effort. It was a Search and Destroy 3-2-7. So something to bear in mind here if you're a Hexad fan, that this could be a solid start into the series, but it hasn't been a solid start to this Search and Destroy. You've already lost a couple of players. Hexad now in a 5 versus 3. Full site control over A. Late flank coming through from Mirage goes all right. And now for the last remaining players on Hexad, you are in very big danger. Team moves the wrong way around just to keep everybody in line. We'll get that one changed as soon as possible. Such a Special Suicide Squad with the start they needed. And I want to say attacks on Kurahana, not the easiest thing in the world to find, and well, maybe being made a little bit harder from Hexad than they would have liked. But Secret and Movic finding a couple of kills over towards the backside of things are going to be a little bit scary, but SSS will find round number 1.
Just a solid start, I think, from SSS, right? They win those opening bloods, and again, Hexad kind of panicking somewhat as to how to make it happen. I think it was Mirage that was trying to put a flank together, and he could have been the hero for the squad, but as soon as that goes all right, no more tricks up their sleeve to salvage that round. So SSS, solid start, seems to be once again here. Chuso firing down long, the Tundra doing Tundra things. SSS now, once again, looking to get control of the A side, once again dealing with the exact same things. Mirage attempted flank does not work, and our last 2 players, exactly the same last 2 players, by the way, are split up.
Clearly the A players who are kind of being left, or the B players I should say, who are kind of being left to deal with everything else here. Chuso, he's just picking up where he left off in the hard point. 4 kills to his name already, finds 3 in that round. 2-0 to SSS, and look, I don't want to count my chickens before they've hatched here, Brody, but we were kind of semi-promising a relatively close game here. SSS are, well, not making us necessarily look silly, but they're making Hexad, well, fall to the wayside at the moment. I know it hasn't necessarily, it was a comfortable map number 1, 2-0 up in the Search and Destroy. SSS looking good.
What a read from Chuso at the start of this round, though, right? After 2 rounds of unpatterned aggression from SSS on the offense towards A. This time they wait for somebody from Hexad to get a little bit pushy down that A side. Chuso is going to take that fight all day long. Oh my goodness me. SSS are reading Hexad like an open book at the moment. Maybe the one thing they won't expect is Fayaz sitting pretty on the side. And just been found out. Well, he gets the bond partner at the very least, but you're not going to find any more than that. That is a perfect round of Search and Destroy from SSS.
Chuso with a minimum of 3 in that round. Yep. 7 to his name over 3 rounds. Was I overselling SSS in that last round before we're getting things going? They kind of backed me up a little bit, bro.
I don't think you're necessarily overselling them, right? I think this is early doors. This map, as far as I'm concerned, can sometimes prove to be pretty offensively sided, right? The way that it kind of works, it gives teams the onus to do what they want. But I will say SSS are playing superbly at the moment. Finally, they lose some trade. Yes, in the end, it is now a 3 versus 2, now a 3 versus 1. Okay, even 1 versus 2. Last 2 players are split up. Now they're no longer, there's no way that you can survive this.
It's not going to happen. Hexad eventually going to get themselves on the board. That was a much needed stop to the bleeding. Because if it goes to 4, you've only won 1 defensive. Well, you haven't won any defensive rounds out of 4. Then all of a sudden things do become a little scary. Big push over towards B, seemingly coming now for SSS. Goal can find Chuso though, so there is the talisman. Dead and buried. Kuban is able to find something back though. Goal does get taken down. It's the trade that is there, but Hexad have now had time to maneuver themselves around the map. I like this position from Majins as well. He's going to try and keep an eye on anything on the cross. Secret is aware that there could be players set up throughout this, but that first skill that comes through from Hexad immediately puts SSS off, and they can just get a little bit more real estate up the map. You need to hit those shots though. If you're on the side of Mirage, Fayaz is there as well. He will also be dealt with. Now the push coming in over towards A. It's a 3 versus 2 in favor of SSS.
Hold trigger. Actions, hold the trigger. All right, never mind. Just go for it. Don't worry about it, pal. There's at least 1 kill there. Looking for the second. Runs out of bullets for the kill versus Omeri. Omeri runs out of bullets as well. What on earth? Can we please get bigger magazines in these things? In the end, goes down to a 1 versus 1. Daytel now on the hunt for Secret. Again, a reminder that Secret, technically speaking, has to be the player to make moves in the situation. He is in the 1 versus 1. He needs to get this bomb down.
Was that satire where we needed to see more bullets in that mag? I feel like you made that intentionally anyway. The 1v1's about to come through. Daytel is there, and he will find it for Hexad, an important one. 4-1 would have been a very different scoreline to 3-2. Hexad keep it within a round.
Maybe that was muscle memory. Maybe that was just like, hey, we're not on the magazine anymore. We're just hoping there's more bullets in this thing. But there wasn't. And that was probably one of the weirdest 1 versus 1s. And it is an important one in the grand scheme of things because Hexad able to get back into this game off the back of it. Now just 1 round down. Mirage finally winning these opening snipes. And that has felt like the difference maker in these last few rounds. The first blood's going Hexad's way. They seem to be putting a stop to the momentum from SSS now. And SSS have a lot more to worry about in this situation. They are ready for the same kind of push they've experienced before down this mid-cut.
It definitely feels like Hexad have started to get a read. Cuban finds the gunfight onto goal, though. He dropped him so quickly. Mirage just trying to hold this from a very tight angle. Push is going to come through, and you should be dead to rights, but you got the backup from Daytel. Yeah, okay, you're weak. Daytel has been able to regenerate that health. The shots are going to come in from Fayaz. Not 1, but 2. And all of a sudden, Secret's left in a 1 versus 3. This is doable from this position. Now in a 1v2.
Oh, just shots not that great against Majins there. So Hexad seem to have stabilized quite significantly. Maybe because you were gassing SS up a little bit too much, mate. But Hexad are right back into the conversation now. They seem to know exactly how to play around SSS. Again, just the reactions, the adaptations have been superb over the last few rounds. And SSS haven't really found a way to get back into the conversation. So now we see Hexad on the offense. Opening blood here for Gore. That's a big player to take off the board. Reaction from SSS, couple of flanking players, but this read from Fayaz is everything.
Has to find it and does. There you go. Nice pickup coming in from Hexad. Finding those 2 kills, and SSS maybe. Oh, I mean, Secret just gets absolutely bodied, and that is now 4 rounds in a row from Hexad. Did I curse Special Suicide Squad here? Maybe I did.
I think you did.
Maybe I did. Hexad really turning things around here. I mean, the thing is that Chuso had 7 kills through the first 3 rounds. The next 4, he's only had the 1. They really have been shutting him down. So the snipers obviously doing good jobs from the side of Hexad to try and shut that down as quickly as they possibly can. Amari's going to get caught out with his pants entirely down there, and it's just far too easy for Hexad just to waltz onto this A site. Is a whitewash now. SSS have fallen asleep.
Yeah, we'll talk about why here in just a second. There's still a chance for this 2 versus 5 to go off, and I mean, look, there's still a chance for a 1 versus 5 from Chuso. It's not going to happen though. And yeah, I think you can definitely tell the difference, right? Chuso has just been completely shut up. You talk about those first few rounds, and I think it was what, 7 frags is what he'd finished after round number 3 to his name with. We are now 5 rounds later, and he is just up to 8. So that is 1 kill in 5 rounds from Chuso. Has had almost nothing to do. Hexad are right back into this game and now leading it by quite a large portion. Uso will draw first blood in this round, though. Now going to back away, crucially saving his life. Yeah, now you've lost site control, but you're still in the conversation.
Change up from Amari. Detail will get taken down. Now Goal. We're going to try and find the pick on the Chuso, who is just going to back on down. Of course, Hexad are the ones who have to get something done here. Still 2 rounds away from the win. Maybe more so if SSS can continue to bring this one back. Oh, that reload. Getting a little bit worried. I wasn't too sure whose POV I was watching for a second there. Relevant to that. Goal now still. Keeping himself alive. Difficult situation here for Hexad, but SSS just happy to sit tight.
Hexad just trying to get a feel for this round. The fact that that bomb is down in B is the biggest issue here. You have to shave a lot of time off the clock to make this flank happen, and SSS are somewhat wise to it. You can see the positioning from Amari waiting to watch that cross back in towards the B site, and there it is. Cuban with the call. I don't necessarily think the comment's been made to Chuso. Yeah, now he's going to turn around. Mirage is surely dead to rights here. Going to find 1 kill. This is still possible. Mirage, a good look at Chuso, but a look is all you're going to get. SSS finally do something a little bit different at the start of that round. Chuso is effective once more. They're back in the game.
Defend themselves back into a position where they can do something here. Into the next round we go. Chuso, let's see, really has been catalyst for everything good that has been working. Look at the double charge coming out here over towards this B side. The thing is, he didn't get a whole lot of information other than 1 or 2. Anybody else see this push coming in over towards this B side? Chuso, he will find 1, but has he put any of the others up? Secret can only find 1 from that position. You expect maybe a little bit more. Moby can only find 1 in detail. Is he going to find the second? Not quite. 2 versus 2. Aggression coming out. A bomb not down over towards the B side just yet. And Hexad will back on down. Fairs with bomb in hand. SSS not sure what's going on. Have to keep an eye on the rotation that is seemingly underway. But they do well just to semi-rebuff it. It's trades across the board that ultimately puts us in this 2v2.
It's all quiet here at the moment. Hexad retreating all the way towards the back of the site. They know that SSS are a super twitchy team. Probably going to get over aggressive, and oh goodness me, there's no way this Call of Duty timing is about to happen. There is absolutely no way that B check comes through from SSS. They're like, nope, no one is home, and Hexad now decide to spring onto the site. Wrong call from SSS. This rock, excuse me, is going down. Will that benefit Hexad?
Oh, Mara's going to get caught out. They'll be calling for a little bit of help. Go is really going to push the issue here, but he has shots coming in from the other side. If he gets a little greedy. Now Fayaz is left in a 1 versus 2, so the pendulum swings the other way. Fayaz taking his time. USS 9 in hand at this moment in time as well, and just trying to loop around. Have they got any idea where he is? He should be able to find one. Trigger Discipline was there, but Cuban spins and deletes him. 5-5. SSS bring this one back. It's 2 rounds in a row from them, and they've steadied the ship. Hell of a search and destroy between these 2 teams.
Boy, we started the search and destroy thinking, hey, this might be a bit of a whitewash from SSS. Now we're deep into it, and it looks like we could see an overtime between these 2 teams. The way that both of them are playing right now, it's been 2 rounds in the bounce from SSS. Hexad looking for the first blood once again. This is determined a lot of rounds, and it's Chuso to able to take down Gore. That is a fight that I'd like to see the stats on how many times we've seen Chuso win it. But it's a big one because now Hexad will rely on that first blood to get into the B site. They don't have it. So where do they go from here? They are waiting once again for over-aggression from SSS.
And now what's the play on this attacking round? Your numbers down. You don't really want to push to B because you know Chuso is there, and well, he has 12 kills to his name. So it's a dangerous area of the map to maybe find a push with. Mirage with the Rhine Tech trying to find something to do in the middle of the map, but SSS, credit to them, are giving absolutely no room of Hexad to do anything here.
He coming through from Secret though, and he's going to get cut down. That's the in for Hexad in towards B. They've got players on the site now. Chuso has to back up here to try and play his life. He lost Movinly in the cut as well. Big hit marker for Chuso that results in Hexad walking away with a frag. All of a sudden, the defense has collapsed for Hexad. You lose everything. Or for SSS, excuse me, you lose everything. But now 2 versus 2. Hexad, get that bomb down. It's a situation we are now familiar with.
Incredible play for Hexad to actually get themselves in that position. Some big gunfights go their way. Is Daytel going to get some good timing or some bad timing? Next gunfight's going to be absolutely huge. Daytel can find it, and he knows where Cuban is. Fayaz is there to pick up the pieces. Hexad, map point. 6-5 now. And that attack was wonderful. I mean, Chuso finds the first blood. Hexad then find a way through. Secret got caught. Daytel found a miraculous gunfight. I think it might have been onto Moby towards the back side over towards B. And it puts Hexad in a position to win this map out. Or if SSS can find this round, we go overtime.
There's that first blood again. Cuban responsible for it this time. Omari pushing forward. There's the trades coming out, and trades in favor of Hexad all of a sudden. A complete flip of the script. Hexad have all the cards in their hand now to win this round out. Maybe one player gets caught off guard here on the roto. Maybe Fayaz is that guy. Maybe he gets some phenomenal timing. Nope, does not. Chuso takes him down. Now, how many times are we going to see a 2 versus 2?
Chuso! How does he know that Magins is there? Daytel's on his way out and out of the round. 6-6. It's a wonderful retake from SSS. Chuso does brilliantly towards the backside. It's 14 kills to his name. And we go to overtime.
Defend the objective.
What a game of Surge this one's been. SSS was 3-0 up. Hexad then 5-3. All of a sudden it's 6-6. So back and forth. No indication of which way this one's going, but it definitely feels like SSS, if they can keep Chuso alive and keep Chuso frying, they've got every single chance of winning this search.
SSS waiting for aggression at the start of this round. Again, if you said it, Chuso has been the key to so many different first bloods. Gore is not going to give himself away. He's not by the B side this time around. Daytel, big first blood though. SSS going to pick up that bomb. Immediately now looking for a trade. Not going to find it. They've got a couple of different players weak, and only going to find one of them. Imagines for immediate trade, but traded right back from Secret. Now the 3 versus 3. SSS haven't really made much of a headway as far as map control is concerned. They've now got to retrieve that bomb, and Cuban could be the player to do it.
This is such a good position. He's in such a good position. Can he find the second? The shots are a little bit windy. 2 versus 2. Secret and Chuso. Secret getting aggressive as well. Oh, he's not able to find the kill. The shot from Gore is there. And Chuso, the one has been that guy for SSS, is the one that will have to find the 1 versus 2. The thing is that this aggression through B, they haven't got a clue where he is.
I will say, generally speaking, though, I don't think Chuso has much information beyond we know that Gore was to the left here. So he's going to have to take time to swing wide on this angle. There it is. There's the check. Gore now gone. Obviously playing alongside Daytel in this situation. Bomb retrieve for Chuso. And now a USS-9 to work with as well. So a lot more options as to how to play this one.
A lot of time.
Yeah, Hexad can just wait this out. 15 seconds on the clock, and they've made the wrong call. It was in their mind to be here. It's not. That bomb's going down by A.
The bomb has been planted.
This first gunfight's going to happen pretty quickly. Daytel. He did see him. Chuso holding the singular angle for now. But Daytel may be waiting on his teammate to come over before he really makes the pick, because there is a big, bad player on the opposition side. Go towards that side. Did they see him again? Did they get a shoulder? 25 seconds. Go looking for the pick. The shot will be fired out, and Chuso staying alive. Daytel will be dealt with. The USS-9 is out now as well. You thought it was just the sniper. 16 seconds. You've got to make the move. Gore, it's a 1 versus 2 from Chuso. Indomitable at the moment.
And that was just so individual. So individual from Hexad, right? They go 1 by 1. The immediate trade from Gore just is frankly not there. You let Chuso hit the regen in that moment. And granted, there wasn't that much health chipped away, but you still give him a lot more breathing space than he definitely should have in that situation. SSS, or more accurately, Chuso, steal a round away. There's that first blood, though. How many times are we going to see that 1 versus 1? Gore changes tact. It's a B hit from him. Chuso down for the count. It's now going to be a free bomb plant. The only player to do anything about this would be Secret.
Has to hold it down, cannot. Hexad push their way through. Cuban can find one just to maybe try and slow this down. The shot needed to be there. Oh, Magins will find him. If he finds that gunfight, it's a 3 versus 3, but as it goes, it is now a 2 versus 4 in the favor of Hexad, who are now going to push this one out. Can you find anything on Omari? Yes, you can. Mirage will find the 2 to close it out. 7-7.
And I will say, despite the fact that we're all even Stevens here, it has felt like Hexad have been a little bit more certain on their offensive rounds. And a lot of it has come down to that first blood from Gore, beating out Chuso on the offense specifically. SSS have had to work clutch after clutch for these offensive wins. Are we going to see the exact same situation again? This is a lot of headway being made through the middle of the map here, and nobody from Hexad is actually going to deal with it. Yeah, Mirage will take down Cuban. Now player from behind has been sniffed out, though. Fayaz not going to get anything for it, but does get away.
Oh, Moby trying to survive. The map's in a weird little position now. And Go is going to be the guy from behind that potentially could do something, but he's going to get taken down. Moby will find one, as will Chuso. Chuso gets taken down, so now a 2 versus 2. The information, is it there? Well, it seems to be. Mari's going to make the challenge around the corner here. He's got a good idea that Magins is there. He will find the gunfight. Moby is going to get traded, though, the wrong direction from Fayaz. But has he maybe just got the angle? Has he maybe got the surprise factor? Moby spins around. Has got a good idea where he's coming from, though. 1 minute left in this round. It's still a 1 versus 1.
Yeah, no reason for Fayaz to get over aggressive here, right? Just back away. You are the one that is defending in this situation. Moby, if he doesn't, or Moby, excuse me, if he doesn't pick up the kill versus Fayaz, just needs to get that rock down. Fayaz is just going to go for a quick in hit. That's it. Moby doesn't fancy it. He's taking his time. Might even rotate away towards A here.
Just got to play your life. If you're Fayaz, Moby then has to do something. Seemingly, that something will be planned over towards A. A couple of rounds ago, this worked out. Special Suicide Squad Chuso on the 1 versus 2. Moby has time to get this one down, but he is really dotting his I's and crossing his T's before he does so. Fayaz was happy to play the corner, was happy to play the time, but now he will have to retake a site. 45 seconds is adding on to the timer. Fayaz on his way over. Moby now just playing to reflank. Fayaz hasn't got a clue. Both players ships in the night at the moment. 30 seconds.
No information whatsoever. Moby's still convinced that Fayaz hasn't made his way to the site. That's not true. Fayaz now by process of elimination. One more place to check. Moby not looking in the direction. And there is the finish from Hexad and from Fayaz. A round on the board here for Hexad, inching their way closer to winning this overtime.
Nice work. Get ready for the next round.
8-7. Do SSS tie things up again? Just unfortunate really on the other side of things there for SSS. When they get that bomb down, it's so difficult in those 1v1s. Or 2's going to kind of get that little bit of luck. In the end, it's the defensive team in Hexad. Big fight going to go down over towards this A side. This looks like where Hexad want to try and concentrate their efforts. Juban was here. He has back done down. There's a little bit of backup now. Amari just maybe throwing a shoulder. We've got a good idea where this Hexad push is coming from. Could transpire over towards the mid-map. That's where these reinforcements are here. Imagine should be dead to right. Secret. Omari combining well. 3-1 is the trade in favor of SSS. This round is over before it even started. 8-8 between these two squads.
It feels like SSS there just played almost perfectly as a team, right? Pincer movement constantly trying to take 2 versus 1s on towards players, and Hexad flailing, caught in the trap that SSS had set. Now again, straight towards B. This time it's Fayaz on the defense, ready for it through the smoke. Are SSS going to be aware of it? No, Fayaz has not been dealt with whatsoever. Will finally get shut out there, but there was a real danger of some kills coming through from Fayaz. Trade from Mirage is good. SSS now going to get this bomb down. Retake from Hexad has to be better.
Oh, they are very tight set up here, though. Which could either work or fail disastrously. You need to find this first gunfight. You're not going to find any of them. Hexad, it's just such an easy retake. Fish in a barrel springs to mind. And now Amari needs to perform a miracle. Not going to happen. Hexad find a very, very quick round to put themselves back up. SSS are fighting on the back foot here. Never has felt, well, they haven't been ahead since, what, they were 3-0 up. Hexad just consistently win that first round of overtime, but can't close it out. Defensive side for SSS to try and get something going here. It's over towards A. Might just give you a false sense of where Hexad are going if you're SSS, but they haven't bit to the bait yet.
It's been a lot of posturing from both of these teams. A lot of figuring each other out over these last few rounds. And to be honest, a lot of situational plays from both of them as well. this round. Feels like it might come down to Cuban. Keep an eye on that left flank, that left street. If Cuban can find these frags, it's everything. I think he's just spotted it out. Might be throwing some utility in that direction as well. The comm should have been made. Yeah, you can see it. Omeri's backing all the way up here. They know these are the most important frags in this round. Omeri wins the first one. Is the trade there for Mirage? It's not immediate, waiting for help.
But still, this bomb is... Oh, it was more over towards the B side this entire time. You can see SSS put a lot of their resources over towards this side of the map. Magins will find the gunfight on the Cuban. Gamari will come through and trade that. Not before Mirage found moving. Data will find another. Is this now the moment for Hexad? 3 versus 2. Secret. Oh, he's really stuck in a bad spot. Are they stuck in there with him? Well, yeah, turns out he's in the bad spot. Chuso butted up 1 HP and left all alone to try and keep SSS in this search and destroy. He's found the 1v2 before. Is he going to find the 1 versus 3? Now a 1 versus 2. Go towards the back. He'll find the shot. And the big boy is dealt with. Chuso with the 19 kills. Will not be enough to find the search and destroy. Hexad will tie things up here in this series, Brody. An entertaining search and destroy, to say the least. 10-8 in the favor of Hexad. And we're heading into a map number 3. Things are all even.
Just an incredible search and destroy from those two teams. So back and forth. We started that search and destroy. It feels like an eternity ago now, with SSS in commanding control. Those first 3 rounds were perfect search and destroy all throughout from SSS, and Hexad didn't really look like they were going to be responding in any meaningful fashion. Then we saw 5 rounds on the bounce from Hexad, where they were the ones in the driver's seat and driving at a hell of a speed. SSS then, of course, bounced back, forced us in the overtime in the end. I think it was like, what, we got to 6-6, and then we started trading rounds between those two teams. Might have been 5-5. Just a phenomenal game from both of the rosters, and it really was the slightest of adjustments that made the difference in the end. And I'll be frank about it, for Hexad, it was just a constant win condition of, right, if we take Chuso out of these rounds, we're probably going to win them, and that was the case over and over again.
Game 2. I was on for the Bucks. Hexad.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know, that's a tough one. I mean, it was really early doors. He found 7 in the first 3 rounds and then was kind of chipping away throughout the rest. I think, well, eyes will point towards the bottom of the scoreboard on SSS, but multiple times they had to clutch up to try and find themselves further in the round. It definitely felt like, I mean, outside the first 3 rounds, we've seen SSS kind of start running away with it pretty much immediately. I was almost writing Hexad's obituary, but in the end, they start to bring it back. They all combine well, and probably just the team that deserved it over the 18 rounds of search that we did play between these two. But we're going to be heading into a crossfire control now to see who's going to separate themselves. But I mean, look, map number 1, you kind of, it's a comfortable one from the side of SSS. They start the S&D strongly. Is there an air of, well, did they take their foot off the gas? Did they maybe drop away? Did they feel as if they were the better team and they were too overconfident? I mean, maybe it's a bit of a stranger call. Lauren is not there.
Do I, Lauren?
She's not locked in. She's not locked in.
Visibility cloak on. I don't know what's going on. All right. Hi, Lauren. How's it going?
Up there. Maybe she's on the sofa. She's got us on the TV, keeping an eye on what's going on.
Definitely has.
She's locked in for the crossfire control, mate. That's what I believe. Summit is definitely a map we're going to get to see for map number 4. Tunisia is a potential that we will go into for map number 5. And just to bear in mind, that was the SSS pick, as you can see on your screens. They then get to play their hard point on map number 4. So if they can take this control, they're in a good spot. But it definitely feels that based on what we've seen so far, I think it doesn't take a rocket science to really figure this one out. SSS looking stronger than Respawn. Search and destroy. Hexad, phenomenal so far. So it really is going to possibly come down to this control, Brody. In a crossfire, it's going to be interesting because it is all about that spawn trap that players can potentially set up. We've only got to see a dominant one of these so far. I wonder what a close one's going to look like.
Yeah, it's so weird, right? Because I do feel like, again, and this is off a very kind of low sample size, if you will, I do think it's probably going to be a case of the team on the defense is probably just going to dominate these next few rounds, and it's going to be a matter of, all right, is there going to be a moment where the team on the offense can kind of break out of that spawn trap? And that's that, right? I mean, that feels like it's going to be the difference maker, is who can kind of scrap stuff together on the offense here for these teams. Well, we'll see the answer here as we're kicking things off with Hexad and SSS in a very important map. Never thought I'd say that about crossfire control. And already at the start here, SSS are winning the vast majority of the fight. So I said that it's going to come down to the finest margins in terms of these offenses, Ton. Already, you've got 1 tick on the board for SSS. They are winning all of these fights as well. This is not the defense you want if you're Hexad.
I mean, if you're Hexad, it's just tough to get back in over towards this site with the aggression that's coming out from SSS. The live's looking good, and it's a small choke point you got to get through. Somebody watching from mid-map as well. It's a tough one. So A is going to fall pretty quickly. Predator missile already coming in, and this kill feed just does not look great for the side of Hexad. The intro music's barely stopped, and A is gone. Mirage and Kodo just trying to steady this ship with a couple of kills over towards the shop on the other side of the broad, but B is now the target for SSS. 21 to 15 in terms of lives. The advantage is theirs, but eventually Hexad have been able to set themselves up in the middle of the map just to try and stop this bleeding. 19 to 14 now.
Yep, 6 life the difference between these two teams. Again, the fact that SSS have actually captured A whatsoever kit is an incredible achievement. They can win the offensive round as well. Maybe they'll prove that S&D between them two was a fluke. Hexad right now being dominated. SSS trying to get onto the other side. They're winning all of these fights, Ton, and now they are operating a spawn trap on the other side. Hexad being watched to spawn in. You've got 6 lives remaining. You're being gunned down at every single turn. This is an offensive round here for SSS.
Incredible from SSS. They have ran through Hexad here. They'd probably rather get the picks if they can. You can see them kind of just jumping on towards FA as well, coming here to just stop this from happening, and Chuso will eventually have to deal with him. 5 ticks over towards the side of SSS, but the important number is the 1 to 0.
Yep. SSS, just a phenomenal start from them. 10 kills for Cuban off the start of this round. Has a streak in the back pocket ready to go as well. Just goes to show how much of a phenomenal start it was. And if they have a phenomenal start on the defense as well, this is going to press some serious trouble for Hexad. Here comes a flanking play from Omeri, looking for kills with the KRM. It's only a couple, but again, it is enough to disrupt Hexad on this offensive push. It's not quite a spawn trap just yet. Still more work to come, but that Predator missile coming down from Cuban is most certainly going to help. You can tell they want to get map control early on. They want this crossfire control done quick.
And I think when Magins was dealt with there, that kind of spelled trouble for the side of Hexad. Oh yeah, here's the setup from Chuso, just raining it down throughout. There's 5 in a row, will eventually fall. Mari calls in the equalizers, immediately gets taken down. So still something to do here from Hexad. It takes one decent break to get yourselves out, but you were already 14 lives down. Question was kind of raised of how many of these teams have really put some time in on crossfire control. Well, SSS, if you wanted to see it throughout the rest of the season, I don't think you will, because this is dominant so far.
Yep, Hexad, no control whatsoever here. Last 5 lives in this round, and they are just playing so individually, only because of the fact they're kind of forced to at this point, right? There's no real way to play as a team, especially when your team is being wiped off the map. We're down to the last couple of players here. It feels like this control round, and perhaps even the control, is already done. God, I would hate to see the KDs at the end of this game, Ton, because right now, Hexad are being stomped on.
Oh, they're getting slammed. There's no 2 ways about it. It just feels like it's that opening break that's so important. Whoever can kind of win it over towards the side, if you're the attacking side, you can get something going. But if you lose it, that's the problem. And immediately Hexad will start to find a few kills. They found nearly everything they needed to. One player has slipped the net though, and I actually really love that, you know, from the side of Amari. I don't want to necessarily put too much on it, but I will. I think the fact that he pushes in there, seeing his teammates are losing a couple of gunfights, keeps himself alive, puts himself behind everybody, and just eases that pressure all on his own. Has now found 5 in a row. Was looking to make it 6, can't quite make it happen, but he's allowed his teammates to get out of this one.
And I think it says a lot about Special Suicide Squad as a roster, right? Again, the fact that they've been together for so long, this combination of players, they didn't make a change coming into this season of the Snapdragon Pro Series. It just changes absolutely everything for a roster. It makes them so much stronger. And they do at this point in time, again, just based off this control solely, look a lot stronger as a roster. And once again, now we're starting to see that exact same situation. Force Annihilator out of Gore to try and save this a point. And he will find the kills to do exactly that. So A doesn't look like it's going to go unless Moby can do something crazy, and he won't. So Gore, just with that Annihilator, a couple of good shots here, will stop that A point from falling by the wayside. This is a much better defense on the whole from Hexad, but I think it's because of the fact they've had those operators to invest.
Still got 2 more to potentially bring to the table. Cuban still has his as well. So if you're SSS, do you invest here? Try and get something going over towards A. Hexad with the slight life advantage. 14 to 10. You can see the mid-map pressure kind of there now. They're set up, they're waiting for the push to come through because that's what the SSS have to do. Chusuk is the only one who can find anything. In the 13 versus 7, this is looking like a Hexad round. Moby and Secret can find a couple, but you have to be pretty much flawless from here on out.
That's not looking good for SSS. They finally slowed up in this game, or rather, I think Hexad have sped up. Look at the amount of utility that Hexad will close out this round with. Emery and Moby just trying to extend the inevitable now. 0 seconds on the clock. Contact at B is the only thing stopping this round from being over, and the last remaining player steps off the point. So Hexad, a round on the board here. Looked pretty good from them on the whole, but again, it has to be said that I think a lot of it was down to clutch plays with the operators from Hexad, the reason they're able to win that round out. Now it is SSS once again on the defense, and last time around, Hexad got stomped. See if the same thing can happen again.
For all that, Hexad have been able to, well, get a couple of streaks together. There's a lot of operators on the side of SSS to try and get them in control here. Cuban will find the kill on the Magins, who did have the War Machine out. So with the War Machine himself, Daytel waiting for Amari, but Cuban will continue his spree. 27 to 24. For Hexad, you do have a little bit of a respite in the fact that Daytel is out, but Daytel is dead. And Mobbingly and Co can now start to push forward. Cuban can find a kill on the go, but Magins trying his best to get his team out here, but everybody else has fallen by the way. So that is a huge couple of kills coming in from Go and Daytel. They've done well to get themselves out. So a lot invested from SSS for not a great deal of map control yet.
That's worth saying. We also saw investments from Hexad though, so I think there's kind of a bit of counterplay going on between the two teams, right, where SSS are using the operators and the streaks to try and counter what Hexad had coming into this round, because it's worth saying they had, what, like 6 streaks to talk of or something like that, and 3 operators, now just down to 1 streak and 1 operator. And all that they've got for it is a 6 life differential, and that's not in Hexad's favor, by the way. Right back to the respawn screen they go. Secret is tearing them up as well. That's 5 in a row for him. And again, it is still possible here. Hexad have players on A. They can extend the clock, but whether or not they can win this game down to that life differential is a totally different story.
War Machine out from Mirage. SSS have just quite happily dropped back here. Mari waiting for the push to come through. Mirage. War Machine was out, as was he from this round momentarily. 7 lives remaining. It's just so difficult for Hexad to do something here, but Magins can find a kill on the Secret. You've almost got to kind of play this like a bit of a search and destroy right now. There's a minute and a half to go. You don't have the lives. You now have none. Mario and Co starting to push forward. Mirage can find something, but Cuban and Chuso wanting to call game. Cuban finds another. Chuso another of his own. It's a wonderful, wonderful control from the side of SSS. And while I find the rest of the EU sides, I ain't seen this map against SSS again. 3-1. To take the control. That is utter domination on Crossfire. Brilliant stuff from the side of Special Suicide Squad. For me, that is as convincing as you're likely to see. Yes, okay, we did see the round coming in from Hexad, but again, it kind of felt like map number 1. Close to a certain degree in terms of the actual scoreline. Okay, 3-1 in control. You're like, oh, okay, well, whatever. But realistically, it always felt like SSS were going to win that map from the get-go.
Yeah, and I will say, right, it was round number 1. That was the damning thing. You'll remember that those last 3 rounds were trading defenses between the 2 squads, right? It was the round 1 offense from SSS that was the most damning thing of them all. And just again, it comes down for me to the way that SSS play as a team pretty consistently. They push as a team. They've got really good communication on the roster as well. Just a solid team through and through. And of course, it helps that they were just frankly winning the gunfights, and off the back of that as well, they kind of weren't resting on their laurels, right? They were constantly pushing Hexad further and further back into their spawn to the point where you see SSS take that round at number 1 away. So a dominant performance from SSS in that game, and again, specifically down to that first round of play where they finished with, like, what was that, 20 life advantage or something ridiculous like that. That bears out in stats at the end of the game as well. 26 for Cuban, 23 from Moby, and 24 for Chuso. Everybody firing on all cylinders in that game. And for Hexad, again, moments in the last 3 rounds where we saw them, that first round, they were just totally absent, and that, I think, is the thing that ends them in that control.
Well, here we go then. We're going to be heading into map number 4. Hexad will find themselves behind again, and they need to turn around pretty quickly here in the Snapdragon Pro Series. We need to see a lot more from them when it does come down to this hard point. I believe we're going to be heading over towards Summit, and if you're SSS, this is your pick. You were confident in map number 1. You got the job done there. You've just battered them about on Crossfire. surely this only goes one way. But I suppose, if I recall, even to my own words, after 3 rounds of Search and Destroy, it looked like SSS were going to run away with this series. As it goes, there is still maps to be played. So we're going to head over towards the summit, but nothing is guaranteed between these two teams at this moment in time. Hexad have definitely got the capability. It was a 50-1 game in map number 1. Okay, it definitely felt like it was SSS's to lose. They didn't. Hexad, can they bring something else to the table here in map number 4? It's a hard map, though. You're going into a summit. You're down in the series. You need to be perfect here in map number 4 if you want to see that map number 5.
Yeah, it is worth saying, right? When we go back to that first hard point, and realistically speaking, like, it was what, a 41-point game or something like that between the two teams. Like, SSS didn't waltz away with the game. Like, they had to work for it for sure. And it was only a couple of different rotations that really split the difference between the two rosters. So I don't want to say convincingly, despite the fact that this is a SSS pick going into map number 4, that this should now be the series done and dusted in 4. I also would go as far to say that I don't necessarily think the pick matters at all at this stage of the competition. Again, a reminder that teams are kind of just picking for themselves at this point. There's no strategy. For all we know, Summit could be a phenomenal map for Hexad. They could have practiced this in their scrims. They could be very confident on this map-made combination, perhaps even more confident than SSS themselves. So a lot of questions still to be asked here about these two rosters. This series could still go to 5. If we've learned anything about Call of Duty over the years, is that you can never count your chickens before they're hatched. SSS still got to work for this one, Tom.
Oh, absolutely. I think, you've been around long enough to know that the expected is, well, never usually the case, is it? Expect the unexpected is the saying. I didn't want to necessarily go down that route and bring out something so simple, but really that is how Call of Duty sports can go on every single level. But the expected for Special Suicide Squad is to win this game within the 4 rounds, so 4 maps that is permitted at this moment in time. And so far, so good. 24 seconds remaining. Dominant in the kill feed, dominant on the scoreline. Mario and Co. with a sensational start here at the summit.
Phenomenal. Again, we always talk about the fact that P1 here on Summit Hardpoint is one of those hills that you can get a lot of time for, and so far SSS are doing everything right in terms of control of this hardpoint. As I say it though, Caster Curse comes through, imagines, takes a couple of players down inside the hardpoint. Now you've lost your presence up top, and all of a sudden Hexad will actually get a look at that hill. So walking away with just 6 points is not the best hardpoint on the whole from Hexad, but perhaps their fortune will turn in their favor as we move towards the next hill, because Mirage has just wiped out 4 players on the roto. Daytel picking up exactly where he left off as well. There's a good chance here for Hexad to get control of this hardpoint.
It's a great job from Hexad, to be honest with you. Just to slow this down, and to be honest, they're now completely dominating the kill feed until Secret found those couple of kills, but trade is there. Hexad will hold this down. Fair is doing a wonderful job. So Hexad, well, you give away far too much time over towards P1. You've had a wonderful P2, and P3 is incoming in 25 seconds. You're finding the gunfights. You are finding control. You have the spawns you want. And things can change ever so quickly. I think it's so easy as well. I mean, for us, for guys at home, when you see that first hill go that way for SSS, you think, good God, this one's over quickly. Hexad turn it on its head very fast, and all of a sudden SSS are giving up on that and looking over towards P3. Hexad already here.
Now, Hexad, really good opportunity now to change majority control of P2 into a full control of P3. Just have to plug all the gaps here. Potential opportunities for SSS to make their way through. That's not the start that you wanted. Now operators coming out from both sides. Chuso looking to do something here with the War Machine. Unfortunately, self-damage doesn't help. On the other side, Fayaz has been removed. The equalizers at the very least, but Hexad feel like they've got just a little bit more right now. Mirage comes through with 3 with the War Machine. Daytel now also dealing with players from the front with the Purify. Heavy investment from both teams to ensure control of this hard point. But off the start here, it is absolutely Hexad in control. Mirage's War Machine doesn't amount to all that much. Now players starting to hit the back line here as well. Predator missile to deal with the threat around the front. And on the whole here, Ton, this has been phenomenal usage of everything in the war chest for Hexad.
They've used it very well. And sometimes you're like, okay, well, they've invested to get that time, but sometimes investments don't pay off. This one returning tenfold for Hexad. 10 seconds to go on this one. Yes, okay, the scrap time looking like it is going to go over towards SSS, but heading over towards the next hill, they're nowhere near. They're going to have their own operators to be able to bring to the table as we head into this next rotation. But Hexad are going to have something else to play with, and that's going to be a setup. That's going to, of course, be streaks alongside of it as well. You can hear they're starting to come in now. Matchins will make sure that he finds plenty with it. So for SSS, you are going to be leaking away 10 or 15 more seconds before you're even there to stop it from happening.
Losing this rotation is difficult, I think, for SSS if it doesn't go their way. SSS still have a couple of ships on the board here, but it's all going awry. Majins, Fayaz, the SMGs are firing on all cylinders for Hexad. It is a gravity vortex gun that gives SSS a chance at this hill once more, but those back spawns still not broken just yet. SSS will know it, and they will continue to fire downrange at that back spawn, but Hexad off the back of those spawns again will continue to look at this hard point, continue to get shots at this hard point, and that is just not that great for SSS.
In all things considered, though, with 15 seconds remaining, they've done well to find a breakthrough. Investment was there, and it does pay off. But I think considering, you know, SSS picked up, what, 40 seconds or so over towards P1, the fact that they've only found another 50 throughout the next 3 hills calls for concern. SSS have not been able to have it all their own way. Based on the start that we'd seen as well, we presumed that would have been the case. Go is now going to bring out the Annihilator over towards P1. Doesn't want what happened in that start of the entire map to happen again. I'm just trying to hold this down. Amari can find him, though, with a fairly easy kill. Fayaz now bringing out the equalizers, finds nothing. And those are the kind of moments that can swing a game. Now, SSS have plenty to use here to try and get some time and try and rotate over towards P2 in 35 seconds.
It's a bit of a weird one, right? It's always awkward investing in towards P1. That's exactly what SSS are going to do. And at the same time as those investments come through, it is Hexad that come through for 3 kills simultaneously. Ameri whipping out for a couple of kills, as is Chuso. But this isn't resulting really all that much time with the back of this hill. You need some more frags, and there they come in from Secret and Moby. SSS looking for the back 10 seconds. There's a neck and neck game between these two teams. But now we move forward towards the next hill ton, and this is where Hexad got control of the game last time around. It was a solid P2 hold into an even better P3 hold, and then that break for P4 spawns. That sequence of events cannot happen again here for SSS.
Let's see if they can manage to stop the bleeding over towards P2, because it has been a problem. Cuban now up top is going to no doubt drop down, gets a little bit of nice timing onto Daytel. 45 seconds remaining on this one, but it's about these P3 spawns, which are going to be fought over. Amari's going to push forward. He will get dealt with, but this P2 time is kind of in limbo at the moment because nobody really wants to step foot in it. Hexad now starting to get some time. It's all about this rotation, though, that's going to come over towards P3. You can see SSS putting a lot more respect on Hexad's name this time around. There's one player who's made the push, and it's going to be Cuban. Mirage can find 2 over towards this hill, though. Cuban with the push now is going to find those kills on the flank, and he's going to be a difficult position for Hexad to deal with. Do they send players back? Yes, they absolutely do, but do they forego time over towards P2? Well, not if you're going to find the kills. A little bit of an even split. SSS can find some decent time. And will, with that, a lead as well. That P3 rotation still in the hands of Hexad.
Hardpoint is ours.
And that's the thing for Hexad, right? You're not too bothered about not getting control of the next hill as long as you have control of this one. SSS, though, winning some of the gunfights. That's going to make things awkward here for the last remaining players. Gore and Mirage, a lot to do around the back line. They will win a couple of fights. Daytal now trying to be the savior through the front, but they haven't fully dealt with everybody. One player has stayed behind. The designated survivor here, Chuso, trying to provide a distraction for the rest of SSS to make their way through the front. Daytal will get a couple of kills here with the Purifier, but Hexad are going to require a little bit more investment if they want to hold on towards this hard point.
Trades as far as kills go, and operators as well. Fayaz, though, we see him not really find a great deal with the operator last time around with the equalizer. He didn't really show up, but Chuso's just trying to keep them a bit. Fayaz can find another and another after that as well. He's done so well to survive. Fayaz will eventually fall, but Hexad get what they wanted, and that's total P3 control. 20 seconds to play for here. SSS trying to find a way through. This may well be the first time that Hexad find themselves in a decent lead since the last time while we were here. SSS are going to have the opportunity to set themselves up over towards P4 this time, though. It feels like those rotations, they're fighting over a little bit more efficiently. They get a little bit of scrap time. P4 rotation is there, but they do have somebody behind them. Daytel could cause some problems here.
I don't think it's been spotted out just yet. There it is. Big kill. If you're a Moby, you've just taken out the one player that would have influenced those spawns for Hexad. So now they've got to work their way through the front. SSS have not got players in position just yet. Cuban with the investment from the Sparrow deals with the players that were starting a challenge. But you will get close spawns here if you're Hexad. You will continue to get to regenerate towards this hard point. And here comes the first hit.
Been such a close map here over towards the 4th one in this series of what has been a wonderful one. Fayaz will find the breakthrough, and Mirage and Coat are there. 34 seconds remaining now. They managed to find a way through. It's just that unrelenting pressure. It kind of starts with Daytel. He finds those kills. They have to turn around, give up that map control. SSS find a way back through, but only momentarily. Fayaz, Daytel go, all combining and all holding it down. 20 seconds remaining here. Over towards P4, and it is all Hexad right now. They are locking this down. SSS seem all at sea. They're pushing one by one, Brody. It ain't working.
Yep, this is SSS desperately trying to find their way back in towards the hard point, and Hexad stealing time away off the back of that break towards that hard point. All of it resulting now in a, 18-point difference between these two teams. Gore is winning the opening engagements by new as well. Hexad looking for the majority of time over by P1. We know this can be mixy though. Moby trying to find his way through. Chuso on the other side for a couple of kills. Ton SSS now starting to invest into this as well. Chuso goes big for kills here with the War Machine, firing now at every single point on the map. SSS, they want this time.
Omari brings in the equalizers, only finds one. Chuso will eventually fall as well. So for Special Suicide Squad, that is not necessarily the return you wanted. Fayaz and Daytel, it definitely feels like Hexad are the ones with the onus in this game to go on to win it, but SSS still in control. Gravity Vortex gun finds very little. Well, we can find one, and all of a sudden 3 operators for a Special Suicide Squad evaporates. 20 seconds to go here over towards P1. Secret starting to find some kills over towards P2. You can see an investment was made by Hexad. I think one operator came in, not 100% sure who it was from, because they definitely had 3. Now they have 2, but still have that onus. Chuso's got 45. On the other side of things, though, everybody carrying their weight on a Hexad. 192, they find themselves behind, but do they have the utility? Do they have the kills that they need to try and find this rotation over towards P2? This is where they really have, I don't want to say dominated, but they found a lot of time towards this hill. Can they do it again to retake the lead?
And a reminder that SSS have a path to win this game, not just off the back of this hill, but if they hold those P2 spawns. That's why you're starting to see Hexad players push behind enemy lines. Open engagements now starting to come through. Investment 3 operators from Hexad. They know how important getting control of time is, but you need to deal with the players up top. Umeri being a total nuisance, but the Purifier and the Death Machine combo from Hexad is enough to get control. SSS can no longer finish things here regardless of what happens. They've got the backup though. They've got the back spot that is that next rotation towards P3. Hexad need to now fight for it.
Mirage and Daytel just go back to back to just try and hold it down over towards P2. Cuban's actually going to invest here for that little bit of time. They've got the spawns, they forced them further back, and it may well be another 5 or 6 seconds that go over towards SSS. These next transitional gunfights are so important. One player may well have just slipped the net there. It was momentarily Daytel. He gets taken down. So the rotation is here for SSS. The hill is popping in 3 seconds. Hexad, what can you do to try and find a break?
Hexad are panicking. You can absolutely tell the way that they're going individually in towards this hard point. They're panicking, but now the wrap comes through. Players around the back line. Chuso deals with every single one of them. It's 3 clean kills for Chuso. Omeri round the front as well. This game might be done.
Hexad have got one more opportunity to try and get through. The Annihilator from Gore is out. You need to find everything. You need to be perfect. They can't get there in time. SSS will secure this series, but not without a big turnaround from Hexad. In map number 4, we've definitely seen something from them in the hard points. We've seen a great search and destroy, but ultimately it will be SSS who take this series away, Brody, and deservedly so.
Yeah, again, we'll say it time and time again. Summit Hardpoint can just come down to one key rotation over and over again, and in the end, it did. SSS, they get control of P2 in the closing moments of that game. They make the roto towards P3, and Hexad, I think, do kind of panic here. You'll see it in the replay package here in just a second, folks. But yeah, I mean, Hexad, it feels like they kind of go just a little bit too individually. I will say, got to give a massive shout out to Chuso and the War Machine investment in the closing moments as well, because there were 3 players that did slip the net and could well have flipped the spawns in Hexad's favor. Chuso wipes them all out with a single War Machine pellet, and they don't stand a chance. But it was a total close game throughout the entirety of it. Constant back and forth between these two teams, constantly fighting for control over hardpoint after hardpoint. But in the end, as I said, comes down to that final rotation, and it is the Special Suicide Squad that get control of it.
And again, it's that guy at the top of the leaderboard for SSS. If Chuso keeps frying like this, this squad are going to be a serious issue. Everybody else in the challenge series, I mean, for all these teams, though, you look at a player like that and what he's able to do on multiple different occasions. Wonderful work from SSS. They will take the series 3-1. Lauren, sensational job from them.
It's back and forth, but I mean, that could have gone either way on both hard points. That was a great S&D. that was what we're hoping for out of our matchups when we get to the challenge phase of this competitive ecosystem. I mean, fantastic job on behalf of both of those teams. Obviously, it is Special Suicide Squad that move forward in that upper bracket, but Hexad are not out of it yet, folks, for everybody at home. Just a reminder, they still will drop down into that lower bracket, and they have one more opportunity to stay alive in the competition and to qualify for the challenge finals. Great way to kick off day one, though, of our challenge season here for EU. We get to see that reflected here in the bracket. And I did misspeak earlier at the beginning of the show. We won't be doing the lower bracket matchup today. We're staying strictly in the upper brackets. We actually get to see Special Suicide Squad again. They'll be facing off against the winner of the next match of the day between Underdogs and Exclusive. And I mean, Brody, Exclusive are a team we've been talking about for I can't even count how many years now.
Yeah, Exclusive are the big dogs, right? I mean, I think their story coming into the season is a little bit different, right? You know, they are constantly playing second fiddle in Europe. It was the King's Clan a couple of seasons ago, then Animus in season 5. So Exclusive are looking to be the top dogs, but they're now fighting from the back foot. So I think it's going to be interesting to see kind of how Exclusive look in the grand scheme of things. They should get past Underdogs with ease, but getting to that upper bracket final, I actually think they're going to have a tough time if they end up facing the Special Suicide Squad, because SSS are not to be underestimated. They are a squad that back in UEC were taking maps off of Queens, which, by the way, is a roster that has beaten Exclusive a couple of times now. I think it's going to be a closer matchup if that is our upper bracket final today than people expect.
Well, we're just going to keep all of these amazing matches going. We're going to be looking towards match number 2. Before we dive into that, though, we're going to be sending it to a short break. So when we return, like Brody said, the underdog versus the big dog. Don't go anywhere.
With the one, the only, the legendary, arguably the European GOAT, I've got Veer with me. Brother, how you feeling, brother?
Thank you. I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Just want to get a little bit of a, little background on you, because I think people forget that this is like your 5th year now competing in COD Mobile, and I think for a lot of people that have been avidly following, they know the story. But you're one of the only people who won back-to-back championships at the beginning of the World Championship caliber, playing with teams like Kingston, for instance, that really set up EU. What was that experience like, kind of starting your COD Mobile career?
I mean, at the beginning, it was very, very difficult, since especially Europe was really good. But definitely winning the first year, especially when there was one slot in every region, it was truly special that year. And to back it up the year after like the partnering with Kings, then it really meant a lot to me by that time. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people had you as the best player in Europe at that time. But then, of course, like you're kind of alluding towards, Europe kind of falls off a little bit. Lots of roster shuffles come through. Yep. There's a middle portion of the time where you weren't finding the same kind of success. But, of course, you finish up this last season 5. You guys finish as runner-ups. You make it back to World Championships. So take me through that kind of reawakening in your career to get back to the top.
It was really a struggle for us to get Exclusive to where it is now, especially with Neil alongside and Creed as well when he was with us. But it was a frustrating, it was a hard road, but luckily we're in a position where we can say we have like the best players in our team. But leading up to that, it was definitely hard, especially for us, for Neil, me, and when Creed was with us. Placing seconds after second after second. It's just frustrating. Like, you want to win one like soon, hopefully.
If you were to go back and pick like one weapon meta where you felt like you were the best version of yourself, what weapon was it? Like, what was the time where you feel like you were at the top of your game?
It was the Holger meta. Like, I was straight on beaming that year. I think I had like on stage 4 where we won the year as well, was 2021. I think I had almost like a 2 KD the entire tournament. I was just beaming that year, and I love that meta. It was yeah, man, it was truly nice.
You were nasty.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Veer, thanks so much for stopping in, taking the time. We'll catch you on the battlefield.
Thank you for having me.
The Snapdragon Pro Series is brought to you by Snapdragon Elite Gaming and DHL.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Snapdragon Pro Series. We are hanging out here preparing for match number 2 on the day. Had to swap out Infinity. We'll be bringing in Proper here in just a second to join us on the broadcast and start talking about these matchups. For now, you're stuck with me, Ton. It's just me and you.
I'm sure we'll manage. We would, to be honest, we probably would manage without those two. I think. You think we'd get away with it? I think we would. I think we'll be.
Brody's not invited back.
No, okay. Yeah, he's not invited back. But yeah, look, it's going to be an interesting game though, because I mean, realistically speaking, we had a very, very close one there. But for exclusive, this is kind of one that you would expect to be. I don't want to say easy, but it's one of those ones that is a typical one for exclusive coming through, going against one of those mid-tier teams. See how things are going to go. But there are no easy games here in the Snapdragon Pro Series. So realistically speaking, they have to still be switched on.
All right. Well, we're going to start talking about some of these squads here. Like we said, underdogs versus exclusive. You're alluding to that. It's a little bit of an uphill battle here for underdogs, but we did get a chance to see them through that open finals.
Yeah, but unfortunately for them, they go against an exclusive team who did actually drop down and come through that losers bracket as well. So it's always going to be difficult when a team like that drops in that losers bracket. It still then goes on to affect you in a certain kind of way when you do get into the challenge group stage, I should say. Because those seeds, obviously, it affects how things are going to kind of look. For underdogs, okay, you get yourself qualified here, but you have the hardest possible start. And what I would say is a really difficult group for them as well. You are potentially going up against SSS if you go on to win it, which is a tough game to go into. Now you're going to be going up against Hexad if you do lose it. For underdogs, It is very much an uphill battle in this group.
Yeah, it definitely won't be easy. But then on the flip side of that, we have to talk about exclusive, because when it came to open finals, like you said, you just talked about it, they were in that lower bracket. That was a huge surprise. We were wondering how that was going to happen. And then the team that took them out didn't give us the performance we were hoping for. There's Proper. We've got him back in here. He's finally joined us, making us wait. All right, Diva, how are you?
I'm good. I like a grand entrance. The ramp was as slow as ever, just letting me down. But you got to get the people what they want. Feels good to be here. But just atoning to what Tom was already saying, this group kind of sucks if you're not named like exclusive. Really, I mean, you're kind of looking realistically on who's going to be that lower bracket matchup. You guys were already touching up on a lot of good points, but I'm just ultimately just here to be able to see what this team right here, this roster just popped up right next to my face, is going to look like. Because, I mean, since losing to Queens 0-2, they haven't been tested yet. And now there's even a lot more question marks about what this roster's peak might even look like, because they still haven't beat Animus. And albeit a couple roster changes themselves, they're not exactly Europeans' best, whatever the hell that means on a global stage. So, yeah, I think I'm mostly just trying to, for Call of Duty Mobile, calm and relax yourself a little bit here, man. I'm just trying to figure out where this team actually lies.
Well, we get to see their choices here for their picks and bans as well. Starting things off with a Slums Hardpoint from Underdogs.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting as well to see how that goes down. So one of the new ones to come into the rotation, but it's still at the same time it's Slums Hardpoint. You should know exactly what's going on. Standoff will be coming up for the Search and Destroy control on Raid. Pretty standard outside of the Slums, so that's an Underdogs pick as well. So bear that in mind when we do head into it. Maybe trying to throw a bit of a curveball here. I don't know if I'm giving Underdogs enough credit though. I mean, realistically speaking, they came through the winners bracket. Okay, they went up against Troglodyte Tribe in a very, very convincing 3-1 fashion. But unfortunately for them, they come in against exclusive to kick things off. So still, on paper, exclusive are the team that came through the losers bracket. But we know what exclusive are like. We know what to expect from these players in particular. And it's going to be difficult for underdogs no matter which way you kind of put it.
Yeah, I think this will be pretty telling of what both of these teams are going to be capable of this season. So I'm excited to see how this second match goes. And I believe our players are ready. The lobby should be about to load in. So it's time to dive into match 2.
Well, here we go then, Proper. We eventually got you on board. I don't know if you have something better to be doing, but here we are. You eventually will get in with me. But Underdogs taking on an exclusive. Look, on paper, to me, it does scream an exclusive win by a comfortable fashion, but do we expect maybe something a little bit more out of Underdogs? As mentioned, they did come through the winners bracket in open finals in convincing fashion, but now they get a date with exclusive to kick things off. Not necessarily the most ideal.
Yeah, I mean, The odds don't look good, man. I'll tell you that much if you're an Underdogs fan. And I mostly am saying that just because you already talked about the point. Underdogs did beat Troglodyte Tribe 3-1. They won both hard points by a combined, what was it, like 7 points or something like that? 5 points on the Summit hard point, and then 8 points on the Slums hard point as well, which is setting ourselves up wonderfully for this map 1. So not exactly comfortable, to say the least. On the other side for Exclusive, they did not play some map 1. It was a 3-0 versus Troglodyte Tribe in the lower qualification match. Their map 1 on Summit, though, it was 250 to 59. So if we're taking an odds basis only, I'm definitely going fully for Exclusive. Underdogs have a lot to prove, but they made it through the open finals. They made it towards the next stage here, so we're expecting them to be able to play up to the competition.
You would expect so. I mean, it's still Exclusive, right? They still have the players on that roster that are mostly going to cause a hell of a lot of issues for, well, a team like Underdogs. Fade and Co, what can they do up against EU Juggernaut in the side of Exclusive here on Slums Hardpoint? It's a map that plays simply. It is Underdog's pick. They want to try and throw something that, well, it is just fundamental Call of Duty towards the side of Exclusive, and is that going to work out for you, or are you going to get punished? Well, based on the opening break, the latter seems to be the case. But for the side of Underdogs, just holding down that P2 spawn, if you stay on that side of the map, it's not necessarily the end of the world if you do bleed some time.
Yeah, Slums hardpoint again. I mean, this is a staple when it comes down to Call of Duty's history. You're looking for some pretty big moments, mostly over on the side where the blue arrows did start this entire game. But Exclusive did start off with the favorite side, and what I mostly mean by that is the P2 side. They know that the south lane is under threat. They do have immediate bricks control. They have not relented from the pressure. I mean, just about a flawless hold is what you expect from Exclusive. It's what they're going to get on this opening hardpoint of Slums.
Oh, and the rotation as well, not looking too bad. Yao can find one. Needs a little bit of help from the rest of his team, who are coming down from the dumpster side of the map, but now being slayed out. Sawa will find 2. Grizz is there for backup. Says are there for the pinch right now. Underdogs do not have a point here on Slums. And Exclusive are looking to speed run this one at this moment in time. Sawa trying to break this down, and now all of a sudden you're already calling in streaks. You're already pulling out some operators as well. If you're the side of Exclusive, this is dominant so far here on Slums.
Got the back spawns. It's rather sticky, and oh, now you're just trying to funnel all the way forward. I mean, man-made flashbang, cannon fodder by way of teammate, whatever means necessary for the Underdogs as they just try to get their way in towards P2. And they work their way in towards some very early operators that are already being popped. I mean, Equalizer is egregious out of Caesar, but at the end of the day, you got 100 points in between 2 hard points. So I guess who am I to judge, right?
I think it's one of those. You just want to recycle it, get it up and running as soon as you can again. Pop it open. If you can find something with it, fantastic, because at this stage, Underdogs, well, are yet to answer. They can have a good opportunity here over towards P3. The rotation is in, but you need to start winning some gunfights. These transitional ones, oh, I mean, it's just so easy. Grizz can walk through the back door and take what he likes. Finds the break. There's Exclusive. Still utter domination here on Slums.
On the back spawns, Death Machine, though, gotta make sure that Underdogs will stay back here. And just because you have the back close spawns doesn't mean it's always a great thing, right? Underdogs are just a showcasing of that and plus some more. But I will say this much out of Exclusive. I mean, they got their operators super quickly, but they're not throwing away their fundamentals here. And I think that's what's most important. And we knew that this was going to be an Exclusive win, but also being able to make sure that they are maintaining a sound Call of Duty along the way, as I guess another thing we could nitpick them. And I mean, when it's 145-0, we're grasping at straws here at this point.
Well, let's find out if they can do the 250-0. That's really what I want to see now. Neil, starting to line things up here. He's 14-4. Everybody really pulling their weight. Via's sitting at 6-5, though. That interview was shift. I don't know if he was maybe off-put by that glorious smile, but here we are, Exclusive now, running things up. Alex is the only one who can answer back. Nigel is there to do the same thing, but Grizz does not want anybody to get any points on the board, and there's a break for Exclusive. 3 seconds to go until this hell pops, and this is... wow, I mean, it is just embarrassing at this stage. Exclusive are running away with this one. Can't quite win it within one rotation of hills, but they will be very, very close by the time we head over towards P1 again.
They just can't get anything going, right? I mean, finally they get a few operators online, but you already had some streaks combating against that, and some operators in the back pocket ready to go against those in kind, of which Underdogs finally were able to accrue all the way at P4. It's 200-0. And Underdogs have yet to find their way in. Sparrow gets popped. Salwu gonna find a couple more kills. And Underdogs just can't find any semblance of a way forward. Every single time that they try to move forward, they get bopped right in the face by a couple operators and just by really good setups. Fade's gonna spawn all the way in towards the back. He was one of those players that was one of the Limer Lights versus the Troglodyte Tribe in open finals, has been absolutely suppressed, as Exclusive are just 25 points away from calling game one. Underdogs with a fat old goose egg on the scoreboard.
Well, we've seen it in open finals on occasion, but to see it at this level would be something else. Exclusive coming in with a potential statement of intent, everybody dying from the side of Underdogs, and this has been a showing of how to play Storm's hardpoint. And they said, okay, yeah, you want to play something maybe a little bit old, maybe we can bring something to the table, something new. Is that going to be what gets us over the line? And Exclusive say, well, yeah, well, you want to know what the equal of a 9-dot finish looks like? No, they got a point. God damn it, Exclusive, you kidding me? We had the 250-0 set up and you let them get 3. How dare you? Exclusive 1-0, 250-3. It's that's something.
Well, you know what? I know it's
break that down for us, Andy, or
say again.
You want to break that down for us of how they did that? Or?
Yeah. I mean, I guess Exclusive might be big NASCAR fans, because allowing a big old 3 is a daily yeah to me, partner. I don't even know if you understand that reference, but I digress. Yeah, there's no breakdown whatsoever. It was started off as a great opening break. Underdogs going in towards P2 attempted to try to get bricks controlled. They died. They spawned cemetery, just like cannon fodder, just were sprinting almost like a human horde through these very narrow choke points. And it just allowed so much score to be accrued by Exclusive that by the time that they had any semblance of an advantage, it started off with just a terrain advantage, which turned into a numbers advantage, which turned into an operator advantage, which just turned into a GG. By maybe halfway of P3, Exclusive could do no wrong.
Well, Exclusive coming into this one, showing that blip up against Queens that stuck them in the losers bracket was, well, merely a blip. Map number 2 going to be coming up very, very shortly, and well, if that one's anything to go by, then well, we'll be heading into the next match pretty quickly. Underdogs, we need to find something else here in the search and destroy. A change of pace, well, is I was about to say, is that something that they can use as their advantage, but it's something that is just a necessity at this stage. We're going to be heading over towards standoff as well, which can be quite a quick search and destroy when you think about the aggression you can head over towards each and every site. You'd expect Exclusive just to keep that pace up.
I was sitting here writing notes at about like 1 a.m. Eastern, just trying to like come to grips to any sort of advantage I could possibly find for Underdogs. And I was like, I mean, it could be the search and destroy, right? You go back to even like the matchups that were absolutely raffle stomps in favor of Exclusive in the open finals. Search and destroy were still technically the maps that were closest. That said, versus the series that they beat Troglodyte Tribe on, the one that, again, they only won both maps 1 and 4 by a combined 7 points. They still lost that search and destroy on Tunisia 2-7. So standoff is maybe could be different, but this is all just a potential of going up against a team that is very well oiled, and that is Exclusive. They have a good core group of individuals that have been playing together and have been playing this game of Call of Duty Mobile realistically since its launch. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, how do you set a pedestal of what you have to step up to even greater? Because after you lost by 250-3 on a map 1, that's essentially what I'm asking out of the Underdogs. You got to show me something here.
I mean, a round would be...
That'd be dope. That's a great start, Ton.
That would be a good start. And then build from that. Underdogs, let's see what you can do here on the Search and Destroy as we load into Standoff. I mean, it's 2 classic maps, right? I mean, we're going way, way back here with this initial first 2 maps. What year is it? Is there an optic van about to come out here and do something? I don't know, man. Does the man even exist on this on the reiteration? Yes, it does. I can see it. There we go. I couldn't see it for a moment there, and I wasn't sure. It's not something we usually actually play around. I mean, typically. Here we are. Anyway, heading into the Search and Destroy. if you're underdogs, can you find some sort of answer to the questions that were posed by Exclusive? Well, on initial impact, not quite.
Nah.
Fennec is out from Grizz, and it's just so easy. I mean, comms, please. Somebody tell them that he's flanking behind. Grizz has now found 3. And Yao can eventually answer back, but the pressure now going to come in and says that we'll find Fade. They know where Yao is. It is the bomb down. It is a 1 versus 4. The round is donezo.
But it's not over yet. Ready up.
I mean, like, when you think of a player that's going to try to get first blood on standoff, you're like, cool, he's going to go 1 for 1. Player on the backside or the other side of Tractor or the other side of Square is going to be able to get that trade, let alone not allow him to get even close towards Grandma's. But I don't know how Grizz walks away with 3 short. Aggression looks pretty good for Exclusive early on. This time they're taking the pressure towards the backside of Deli. But the bomb's still working over towards Zay. So they're kind of slowing up the roll, trying to see if there's any adaptations coming out of the underdogs.
Neil can find something back. Angel, Alex both falling to his sword. It is able to answer back, so some life coming out from underdogs. You can find these gunfights. You need to be able to find a few more. Sour misses the first bullet, won't miss the next couple. The Fennec out from Grizz again, just getting up close and personal. Now Fade left in a 1 versus 2.
I got the numbers though. You got so much space being cleared on the backside of Square. Grizz, he's got eyes on the backside of Grandma's here, man. But Fade, PDW is going to get that information, going to slide out past P1, just try to get an angle on this. But you got players watching all sorts of points of ingress.
Fade looking to play over towards the backside. They have spotted him out. Grizz, sniper in hand. Yep, you know the rest.
But it's not over yet.
2-0 now to the side of Exclusive here in the search and destroy. And it feels like the map score might be down very, very shortly. At least though for underdogs there was some... Well, there was a threat every round at least. 1 versus 2 in the end doesn't go their way. Exclusive again will push over towards this A site. A lot of nades over towards the middle of the map just to try and slow things down. But Grizz will do the same thing here with the MG42. Gets taken down. Sniper shot from Payne is solid. Advantage in numbers towards underdogs.
Yeah, this is a really good adaptation coming out from underdogs. Just try to get a little bit more body stacking. Play for the trades over by Square. Force Exclusive's hand towards the backside of Deli. Caesar. It's going to get really good damage, but there's the bait and switch. Back and forth trades. But it's an extra one on the opposite side out of Veer. Allows this push to get a little bit of extra oomph over towards B.
Neil does well, gets aggressive. Second player may well be here as well. Nigel, is he going to catch the snipe shot from Neil? Disgusting.
Ready up.
Exclusive 3 to the kill. Neil running away with this game. Stunning from Neil.
I mean, we're about to have like 2 different plays that are potential for the upcoming trailer of the new season. I cannot lie. Grizz in the first round. They're in the second for Neil, and he is just not done yet. This guy barely misses the sniper. And you could imagine just the free flow across standoff that you get if you are Grizz, who is now up to 7 eliminations. There's no time for breath. There's no time for any sort of antics whatsoever. Exclusive got somewhere to be.
My goodness. And this just... I think it's always hard to read into these because you see what Exclusive are playing like, and they're going to have a... I mean, let's call it a spade here. Exclusive are going to be going through to this next match and going into that qualifying matchup against SSS. It's hard really to read too much into this, though. They are playing well, but our underdogs just that far behind everybody else right now.
Seems that way, Ton. 2v3 on the map. The only problem is that you still got Neil and Veer, 2 snipers alive for Exclusive. Bomb still dropped on the opposite side, and I think it's exactly what Exclusive wanted. I mean, like, they just want to hunt him down. PDW just going to spray at least 1 more through. So Salvo's dead. The last known information to the backside of gas station. Veer and Neil. Oh, it's just becoming hunting season at this point. Yeah, I'm not too sure because, I mean, like, even when I got to see out of SSS, I don't even know how they deal with this, man.
Ready up.
I just don't. These guys are playing pissed off since they lost 0-2 to Queens. Everybody that's been in their way has just been a slight curb of a step on their way to be facing Animus in the eventual grand finals, you feel.
That's how things seem to be playing out right now. Next game is really going to be indicative of how things are going. Nigel, you got to win that gunfight, buddy.
Bomb acquired.
Payne and Alex now left in a 2 versus 3. This bomb will be going down momentarily. Via, though, gets a spot. Disgusting from Via again. And there are just levels to this game. Exclusive are showing that right now. It's 6-0. Perfect in search and destroy. Underdogs. I mean, there's just nothing right home about. There are gunfights they should be winning. There are rounds that should be closer. And they just ain't doing it. Exclusive, dominant.
9 kills for the opening half out of Neil. Oh, the sniper. Grizz gonna get blooded this time around, but
here we go.
It's gonna be good enough. Underdogs actually find the traits. They find the subsequent kills to be able to find this 3v1. This is their best chance.
Sets Via up for glory. Now in a 1 versus 3. Exclusive get caught with some over-aggression and get dealt with rather quickly. That USS 9 will definitely help out in his chances to pull this one off. Player towards his left-hand side has just slipped through towards Grandma's. This bomb is going down over towards B, which just makes Via's job, well, based on what we've seen in the past 6 rounds, not necessarily impossible, but makes it difficult. Will slowly make his way around. One player top Grandma's is going to be watching, gets snapped onto. And now about where the rest of the players are, that's what he has to try and figure out. Information gained. Second kill will fall through. The 7-0, well, the 1 versus 3. Is that how things are going to play out here? Via looking for the final kill.
Oh, he sees the smoke. Oh, the timing, though. Oh, he's got the USS 9 in Veer. Yao chose to play the corner out of the smoke. No magician tricks. No party favors whatsoever. Just a good old 1v3 for a 7-0 map to win. Why not? Why not?
Maybe they just didn't want us to cast together at this stage because this one will be over rather quickly. We barely get a word between each other. I never even asked you how your days went because it's already 2-0 and Exclusive are running the show here. This is utter domination from one of European's best. And you know, the change-ups in the roster, that kind of thing, I mean, we can kind of talk about it another day because right now I don't think it matters what roster is fielded by Exclusive here. Underdogs, well, we knew they were that when we headed into the series, no doubt, but I don't think I expected them to have 3 points over 2 maps, and that's ultimately where we are right now.
This series is about to be so over so quickly that by the time we get done with it and we got to bring Lauren back, it's about to be on her chair again. Like, this is crazy. Again, Underdogs, like, I gotta tip it. Like, their series that I got to cast, their win versus Troglodyte Tribe was nuts. Like, it was so close and it was so competitive, and we got to see so many bright spots out of Nigel. He's a great mind when it comes to that AR play, but Exclusive are just running through them. And if it's not Grizz in the standoff, search and destroy, like, Neil is just everywhere and he is just forced in place. But when push comes to shove, screw everything I just said. Veer has to step up in a 1v3. These guys got everything in this matchup so far. Underdogs ain't got nothing. This raid control about to get bloody.
Yeah, I think so. That is as one-sided as of a series I've seen here at this stage of the competition in quite some time. Exclusive looking phenomenal. Look, these kind of games happen in the open finals. We know that. Look, teams are able to come through. They start to come up against the big dogs. There is a big disparity between the top teams and everybody else. But when you get towards this stage, right, you get into latter stages. You're trying to qualify for challenge finals right now, and this is happening to you. I think it is more about Exclusive. And as you said, are they just playing a little bit angry? Oh, we're about to find out. Underdogs. 3 points in 3 maps would be upsetting, to say the least. Let's see if Exclusive can... Well, are they going to put this one to bed very early, or are they going to make a hard work of it? Right now, Cesar in the middle of the map. He's fighting against 2 people. I don't think I've seen a gunfight actually work back in his favor. Fists were out to maybe try and get something done, and that is my only worry for this one for Exclusive, that they maybe just try and take the piss.
You know what sucks even more than this is that, like, if you're Triple S, you're watching this right now, you're thinking like, wow, we just got done with like a super sick win in the upper bracket, and we get to watch and download some of the stuff out of Exclusive. You haven't got nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Big 2 for 2 though after the B zone got captured. You got 2 minutes on the board, but Underdogs just struggling to be able to maintain presence as they're spawning.
Pressure is just consistently there. Grizz will eventually get taken down. Fade can find something with Sour. Picks up the pieces. Finds a couple. Underdogs are spawning relatively close, so they can rebuff this pressure over towards A, but for how long? There's 2 minutes and 10 seconds still remaining on the clock. Exclusive still inside of the point. Payne trying to do something. The time is just ticking down for Underdogs in this series. Exclusive wanted the good after what seems like the blink of an eye.
Yeah. I'll say this much. I mean, like, Exclusive aren't playing with their food. Like they're still capping the objective. Like, they're still making things fundamentally sound. Not getting over egregious with these types of things. Definitely having fun with it, I am sure, as Veer with the sniper off of his magnificent clutch is finding more and more shots. Even Neil with the machine pistol, he just doesn't care, man. So opening break off dependent, but when you just win 5, now 6-1, the Exclusive can do whatever they want.
They're about to. The spawn trap is about to get set up. One player has slipped in that ever so slightly. They'll have to backtrack for Fade. Wasn't Fade, actually. It's Nigel that's managed to find his way out, but, well, for how long, I don't know. Alex is able to find a kill on the Cesar. They're going to find a route out over towards A. It looks that way. So there is some potential, but that Predator missile will pretty much deny anything like that from happening. Payne actually still has managed to find a way out. And does he turn back around to try and help his teammates get out of this absolute hellhole that they're stuck in? Or does he just push over towards A and just get that pressure to have to come towards him? That's a question you have to ask of yourself if you're Underdogs here. Exclusive are just running away with this one. It will be done momentarily. And honestly, it's just, I am not too sure what to expect from SSS against Exclusive now. Exclusive that far ahead, or SSS going to offer up a fight? Are Underdogs just way behind the curve and the rest of this group? They are questions we're going to get properly answered. Well, in about 10 minutes, by the looks of things, Exclusive are speed running through Underdogs right now. 2 to the good here in this control. My goodness, proper, I don't even know what to say at this stage. Exclusive just utter domination.
I'm about to DM Veer and see if he's got someplace to be tonight, man, because he is, he and Exclusive are just running through right now. This upper bracket matchup, and not looking so great, especially if you are an underdog. Now you're looking exactly for the namesake, but now we get in towards this round. More operators ready to be popped. 2 for 1 in the initial feed, but Exclusive, once they got numbers, they're just back to their old antics and just winning gunfights. Double capture on 2 different zones. I mean, if you're Underdogs, you at least got them off of the B zone, but you're still spawning parallel over there because Exclusive are still surmounting pressure over towards A. It's just so bloody. It's so scrappy, but like they're finding all of the kills and it's fundamentally brilliant. So like I can't knock it. It's just really, really cool coming out of Exclusive right now, man.
Typical performance at this moment in time. They try to get something over towards A. Underdogs can do nothing. That is now gone. I don't even know if they'll be able to get over to B in time. This has been as one-sided of a series you'll ever likely to see at this stage. They maybe try and get away through. Payne is there to try and upset the apple cart for maybe just a couple of seconds. The Outgang find a way through, though. Suspiro has to come out from Sour. He's eventually going to find the kill himself. Cesar will walk through the front door, though. This one, I mean, if it wasn't already a long time ago, is very much done. Exclusive 3-0 in the control, 3-0 in the series. They allow Underdogs 3 points in hardpoint, and that is it. That's it.
I got nothing for you.
I got nothing.
I mean, it was just a masterclass. When you come up with like the paraphrasing of David versus Goliath, like Merriam-Webster's dictionary has to now change it if that phrase has a picture next to it. It needs to become a pop-up, multi-pictured phrase. If you can become like Harry Potter and put like moving pictures in it, it would be this series because it was just that, man. Like Exclusive just absolutely ran through Underdogs. No rounds of the search, no rounds of the control, no segments in the control either. In only 3 seconds of objective time in the hardpoint, I think Exclusive were the better team.
Yeah, I think if we're going to make those comparisons, you think about Michelangelo's David. Beautiful statue. I've seen it in real life, right? I mean, Underdogs, if we're going to compare them to that, it's like Underdogs are like I made Michael out of papier-mâché. That's kind of the level we're at here. It was
artsy.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. I've seen it in real life a couple of times. Yeah, I've been to Florence. I'm
You
cultural.
didn't have to continuously weird flex on me, bro.
Yeah, well, you know,
You're worldly.
Americans
We
like
get it,
that.
man.
I don't know. Exclusive 3-0. Impressive to say the least. But my word, Lauren, you're already back. I don't even think you would have had time to make a cup of tea, mate.
I didn't know how creative you were, Ton. I mean, I'm impressed.
Well, if we're comparing it to what I thought underdogs kind of represented in that scenario, not that creative as it goes.
Honestly, literally 3 seconds away from a flawless series on behalf of Exclusive. Like, that is insane work. And every time we see them perform like this, it really just makes me want to go back and see what happened when they played up against Queens, because this is the Exclusive we were looking forward to this season. And this is what we know they can bring to the table. I'm excited to see now what they will do in the next upper bracket match against Special Suicide Squad, or even vice versa, what Triple S can do against Exclusive here. But we get to see how that bracket is looking. Hexad and Underdogs are not out of it yet, folks. They will just drop down into that lower bracket. They will then have to play against each other to stay alive in the lower bracket. Whoever wins will move on, and they will play whoever loses this upper bracket match for another spot in the challenge finals. But right now we get to focus on this upper bracket, and we will be qualifying a team through to the challenge finals already proper.
Yeah, I'm excited to be able to see what S Cubed can do, especially having to watch that absolute thrashing that Exclusive just handed the Underdogs. I mean, if me, I'm shaking in my wellies a bit here, bud. This doesn't look too good. Exclusive looked very strong. You heard in the interview with Alan, like, even Veer, like, with that old Kings roster, like, he's been at the top of the world for EU for such a long time. He's been right behind Animus for such a long time. Losing 0-2 to Queens, I'd like to watch the VOD on that as well. Mostly just for professional curiosity, but this is the Exclusive we've come to expect. S Cubed, good lunch, have fries.
Yeah, you know what? It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to see what these teams can do for that first spot. And you know, like we keep saying, that whoever does lose, still not out of it. They'll still be around. They'll be playing whoever wins that first lower bracket match. So still not knocking anybody out yet, at least. That'll happen next time around. But for now, we get to see who will be moving into the challenge finals, which will be happening all the way in April, as we saw on that format. So they'll be able to then hang out and do a lot of scouting throughout the rest of the season and kind of prepare for the teams that will also be qualifying to the challenge finals, which will definitely be useful to gather that information as things go. But before we get into our third and final match on the day, I know that was quite a quick turnaround here for match number 2. We're going to head to a short break. And when we return, match number 3, a challenge spot is on the line in the final. So don't go anywhere. You're watching the Snapdragon Pro Series.
Now 58-4
for the Snapdragon Pro and Garena. Yeah, we still expect you to be able to reach that echelon at certain points in time. So we love being able to point out these smaller moments and these individuals. And I genuinely do believe, especially on a paper sake, when you take down the names of Hexat, of what we were talking about and what you were talking about earlier with like Daytel Gore's on that team as well. These are names that have been around for Call of Duty Mobile for the European entire Snapdragon Pro Series for quite some time. So I think you could really wear that proudly if you are S-Cube. Now comes the real litmus test to be able to see where you stand.
All right, well, Triple S here going into this matchup. They are up against it. This is a totally different ball game than when they were facing up against Hexad. Let's see if they can catch any big fish as we get into it. Proper, we know P1 is always a mixy one. First couple of gunfights already starting to go down here. And it feels like already out the gates here, nothing too crazy for SSS just yet, but they seem to be trading well enough.
Yeah, I mean, if you are S-Cubed, you did technically start off on the favorite side of the map. I wonder how much they're going to start realizing that they are going to lose that. Well, I guess when you 3 dead in the feed, make it 4, almost 5, might as well. Thank you, Caesar, USS 9, an absolute menace. Those spawns then become immediately under threat as now you have the pool house spawns, exclusive spawning over by the well. Wonderfully done for SSS to control the upper hallways, but exclusive, they kind of reel themselves back a little bit. They take the necessary gunfights and get control of P1. Now you can look towards the rotation towards P2.
At the end of P1 here, exclusive going to be walking away with an ever so slight advantage, but my eye's going to be locked in towards what PT looks like. Already starting to see some of these open engagements going down. Grizz able to pick off one inside the hard point. No immediate trade by the looks of things from SSS. They are lagging behind. Somehow, Grizz has played his life for an extended period of time. In the end, it is going to be Mobbingly that clings things up, but Grizz clinging onto the corner there is going to enable exclusive to get right back in towards the time. This is a not so great start of this hard point here, Proper. SSS now lose control of that PT rotation, and this is where the game can really start to run away from you.
Yeah, and I love these little clearings. So it's the smallest of things of just clearing the initial spawn. Grizz off the initial spawn, clears all the way through Zig. Suicide Squad immediately pushing back into over by the rock side of the map. Are able to at least contest it from the front. And it's not without a certain fight, but the exclusives still have the back spawns. They should be able to reinforce this just with sheer numbers. And the War Machine, even at the end out of here, I mean, that is a decision. You won't be able to find at least 3 kills and secure the 10 seconds, but that could be a very necessary tool when it comes down to this initial break over towards P3 once a couple operators get popped out of S-Cube.
Yeah, and that's not a terrible decision from Veer on the grand scheme of things, right? I mean, you bring that out to flip the game from what would have been a 30-20 advantage for exclusive down to what is now 58-11. SSS don't get any time off the back of that, so now they're going to have to focus in on a big investment towards new. Already, Mobbingly with the Gravity Vortex gun and Chuso with the War Machine. The latter is now the only one of the two in play. Sparrow now starting to come out to play from Cuban as well. He's going to find the first against Caesar, but players now starting to get in through him. Exclusive. Veer runs right through with a Type 19. Neil now downrange with the Death Machine as well, is tearing through SSS. Predator missile from Veer to boot. Everything but the kitchen sink being thrown here by exclusive towards this hard point. They want to take this time away from SSS.
Yeah, but if the kitchen sink was well-timed and coupled well with the Death Machine, I'm sure they would have used it. These are some of the fundamentals that I'm talking about out of exclusive, but it kind of lacking out of S-Cube. I mean, they had a really good setup. They got the initial setup over towards P3, which is a really good money hill on Hacienda, but too late to pick up towards the spawns or the backside of office that exclusives got for themselves. As S-Cube were more worried about the garden side, a couple of operators get popped in response for S-Cube to rip theirs a little bit too early or too late, depending on which side of the coin you're looking at. And now exclusive maintain the 60-point lead over towards the Rock Hill, where we're in a little bit of a dance, a little bit of a tango. But you look at the mini-map, I mean, S-Cube have really good positional advantage. You got pool house spawns, you got presence over towards Lambeau Hill die, but you're in a good spot to try to recontest this early, Brady.
Yeah, exclusive now. All they really need to do in this situation is just aim down range. You know what side of the map SSS is going to be hitting the hill from. Sao, the newest addition to the exclusive roster, will triple up around this hard point. Investment now of the operators starting to come into play as well. Be it just one more War Machine pellet left to go. Has to be a good one. Goes out, does absolutely nothing. There is the kill against Omeri. So more kills still to be found here from exclusive. One more wave of gunfights. The special Suicide Squad sent right back to the respawn screen. And over the last, what, 4 hard points, we haven't really seen anything of note from SSS. Just 25 points. They've been super duper quiet since that first rotation towards McLaren. Exclusive have been totally in the driver's seat in this game so far.
Yeah, sure happened, man. And you just look from like left to right. I mean, like the slaying isn't too far gone. I mean, like, yeah, Chuzo not having a really good series after we were building them up. Not after how they looked versus Hexcat as well. So that's just a real tough look for SQ to again. When it came down to their positioning, when it came down to their awareness of the first set of hard points, understanding the state of the game was quite well. Scunny is just a little bit better. So we get back towards P1. It's a 110-point lead out of the team in blue.
Something's going to change right about now from SSS. You talk about those win conditions coming to this map. Chuso was firing on all cylinders versus Hexad here. Hasn't really had much to say. As a matter of fact, currently the lowest kills on the team. SSS really need him and the rest of the squad really to step things up a notch if they want any chance of coming back into this game. But stranger things have happened. They're only down 110 points. They're going to get that scrap time, but they're going to need a fast and furious break towards the next hard point. And they might get it. Keep an eye on player number 5 on the new map from SSS. Some pre-fire coming through for that player. Now 2-for-1 trade over by Rock as well. Players still to be dealt with if you're exclusive towards that lobby side. Mobingly straight towards the hard point. Going to get shut down now. Investment starting to come out. A couple of operators. Exclusive feeling hot under the collar somewhat. Decide it's time to bring out the big guns. And SSS now batting away.
And Death Machine towards the back, but Cuban with the Sparrow finds 3 and Chuzo backing things up with the War Machine. Finally, the push towards the back pays off, Brody. Wonderfully that your eye caught that one. I mean, they did that without numbers, but S-Cube still hung around, and finally the spawns worked out. Mobingly now for 3. The player that spawned furthest out when the initial break was coming through finally pops off in the feed. So we're down to scrap time. I mean, S-Cube, they used just about everything to secure up the 30 seconds that they just got for themselves, but damn was it necessary.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you do start to feel like in this game, you're starting to feel like desperation
So necessary.
from SSS. You're right. I mean, yeah, like you are throwing everything you've got pretty much constantly at these hard points to take some time away from exclusive. And it's worth saying as well, exclusive also used all of their utility on that hard point. So we go into the next one with just 1 operator on the board. That's for exclusive, and 1 streak on the board as well. So pretty much everything is set evenly here across the board. SSS need to win some of these open engagements though. Already feeling the heat from up top here. 3 players up top, 1 player in behind enemy lines. That's Caesar. Q picks up 2. Chuzo fires back with 2 of his own now. Exclusive dealing with the pressure from all of this well side. SSS on their way, but the Sparrow from Sao is everything. More kills to come through. It is a full blue feed. Exclusive having their way with SSS at the moment.
Oh man, dude. Exclusives in the back office spawns on P3. It is just so clean. Now they're 2 sets of hills. Operator usage not going to be there for S-Cube, like we said. I mean, they threw everything towards the tail end of P2 just to get up to 84 points. But exclusive, a handful of operators and really good centering as Predator missiles will secure what was almost a full 60. It felt like they're over by P3, and they have the rotation over towards the rock hill. They can smell the blood in the water. They can smell game.
Just 1 more solid rotation and hold. This game will be done. SSS got to find a way through. Things look splintered at the moment. Mobenly's been pretty good on these breaks. That's not going to work though. It's an individual push. Cuban follows in a couple of seconds later and will get punished for it. They're now pre-firing the spawns with the War Machine as well. Will finally run out of bullets, but just as he goes down, now Grizz going to bring out the Gravity Vortex gun to play. Finally, SSS are able to make it past to have a look at this hard point, but they're immediately met with trades in favor of exclusive. Veer and Sao combined for 3. Exclusive could still, technically speaking, finish things on this hill.
Chuzo with the War Machine, I mean, wonderfully done. Plays his life, finds a window of opportunity. That way S-Cube can at least contest. should at least guarantee us going towards the next hill. Death Machine just comes flying in through the open stairs, and Omari's going to be able to double down from the ramp up that was exclusive just to try to get the back 5 seconds, but they just need 19. S-Cube, they're at least up to triple digits. Cuban, though, with the Sparrow late, gets traded. Not exactly useful kills at the end of the day, as exclusive still realistically have a firm control of this game, but they don't really want to count any team. Not out of the Hacienda.
Yeah, Hacienda is one of those maps that with the proper spawn control, you can still come back in, but it really does feel like you and I are grasping at straws at the moment for SSS, aren't we?
Yeah.
Exclusive. It just is one more solid hold, and this game is donezo. P1 is generally speaking not the hard point we're going to be able to do it. Caesar comes through, though. A couple of kills. Neil also there. Time for the equalizers and time to call game. If you're a Caesar, you want it done here. The smokes are allowing SSS to come through for a contest. But as those kills come through in the middle of the map, Caesar thinks it's go time to take those players coming off the spawn as well. This game is donezo. Exclusive dominates in the first game off the back of an already pretty dominant series last time around.
It's just really tough to like gauge there in the final few moments. I mean, like when you go back, if you really want to dissect like a 250 to 110 loss, which again, like you were saying, Brody, we're kind of grasping at straws, and it's really difficult to do. But like you almost miss like that conviction out of S-Cubed for a lot of this this map number 1. You got to see it in that Pete's shoe hold that got them like about 40-45 seconds of hardpoint time, but in those final few moments, like I'm looking at the top of the screen, and you got about like 3 different operators. Like you're about to lose the game. Like pull the operator out, find a quick 2-3 kills, and then just try to push through, get over towards the McLaren area and get those back driveway spawns. And we never got to see that conviction comparatively on the opposite side. Exclusive equalizers be damned. You get it pretty quickly. You still rip it and you call game just by saying there's nothing you can do to stop me in the close to mid-range gunfight. And these narrow choke points are just going to be shut down as soon as you try to get through top or bottom off the stairs. And I don't know. I think you just kind of you're missing some of that cerebral behavior out of the S-Cubed team, albeit they did drop a decent amount of kills and did a much better job versus exclusive than even I was willing to write them off of how they looked versus underdogs. It simply was not only but a small whimpers. They still lost map 1 quite handedly.
Yeah, and again, you know, so often these maps do come down to the operator usage, and I think there was no better example of the difference between these two teams than I think it was the Fences hardpoint in the first set, right, where we saw a couple of operators come out to play from SSS. I think it was Chuzo and Cuban that had, or Chuzo and Mobility, excuse me, that had them out. Didn't really amount to anything at all. We then see Exclusive respond with 3 operators in kind and a Predator missile just for the kick of it, and all of them found significantly more value than SSS did on the Fences hardpoint, and that happened on a multitude of occasions throughout that game, where it's just like Exclusive were just beating it out on key operator utilizations, key rotations. SSS had no chance from there on out. So relatively competitive game number 1. Relatively is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, but it was a relatively competitive game number 1. We're hoping that game number 2 will be a little bit different, because SSS, they show promise versus Hexad on Search and Destroy. Let's hope that they can carry that across here to this Search and Destroy.
Yeah, I mean, Brody, I know you were sitting there watching that standoff map 2 between Exclusive and Underdogs as much as I was sitting there between that map 2 between Suicide Squad and Hexcad back over towards Metro. It went all the way towards overtime, sure, but like, how are you gonna shut down Neil and Veer, dude? Like they were just not miss. A 1v3 clutch like to call game is diabolical. And if they continue to shoot like that on a map like Tunisia, that's not really looking good for the S-Cubed roster, but I love to be proven wrong. We'll have to see if they can get the job done and at least extend this to a map 4.
All right. We want to see something special out of the Suicide Squad. And they produce it here in Search and Destroy. Tie this one up. So far, so slow off the start of this one. Exclusive, just getting a vibe for what that setup looks like for SSS. Again, these teams won't really have a lot of VOD on one another. Neil has just got some information, though, and I'm wondering when the call comes through.
Nade.
What a nade off the start, though, from Cuban to take Neil out of position.
Wow. That's Wine just immediately taken down. Zawu's gonna have to pick it up, and now you're losing numbers. It's just individual gunfights, and S-Cubed are coming out on top.
Exclusive kind of feel like they're stuck in the mud.
There they
At
are.
the moment. 3B on towards Cuban in the middle of the map. That's helpful for the retake to happen here for Grizz. Never ever doubt Grizz. If anyone can pull off insane plays, it's definitely going to be him. Chase up now on towards Chuso around the flank. Not going to finish the gunfight. Player behind him as well. Surely Grizz doesn't walk away with this one. Please, Mobility. All right, Mobility will finish his food. Now it's 2 versus 3. Exclusive, full confident here that they can get this bomb down on A. And they'd be right, probably, because the bomb site's open.
When that nade gets thrown in, they have no idea where it's coming from. Late utilities coming from Exclusive. They will get the rock planted, but S-Cube are holding hands. Triple stack together. They're going to fully clear all of Winery, this post plant. They're going to rely mostly on the corners here in the bottom side of arches. S-Cube just have to play trades, right? It's just that easy.
You'd think Exclusive have the element of surprise. SSS have to check every single corner. Exclusive have made the right call as to where SSS will be retaking the site from. Here we go. Entrance in. Push in from Omeri's good. Saro going to trade things out. Has already made one player weak. Can he finish things off? Yes, he can. Turn left for the kill on towards Mobilely. It's just too much to ask for. SSS with the perfect retake. They play the trades as you said. It turns out it was just that easy.
Get ready for the next round.
But if in those final few moments, like if he gets back over towards the corner and he just plays for his life, there was only a handful of seconds left. He probably could have extended that gunfight, and Exclusive could have won that. I don't know. It's not a universe we live in now. Good opening first few duels. Exclusive forced in towards individual gunfights. They don't like what A delivered towards them, so they're taking aggression towards B.
All right, aggression towards B for Exclusive. They dealt with most of the threat around the flank. Riz is playing super duper aggressive, perhaps a little bit too much there. Provides himself out in the open. Mobility will take that gunfight all day long, but trades are pretty good for Exclusive. Now down to a 2 versus 2 as Caesar takes down Chuzo. There's another one for Caesar as well. Omeri now stuck at the back of the map, picks up a Tundra. It's a good weapon to have. Looking for the quick scope, switches to the R9 for the gunfight versus Neil, and somehow Neil makes it happen with a pistol. You've literally got 2 of the most powerful weapons in the game, and you still can't take Neil out.
Yeah, no. Sometimes Neil just be doing that, man. He's been doing it for quite some time now. I'm not very happy about the stain on the S&D so far. A little bit of mental warfare coming through those side squad. They're not going to relent. They're back towards this round 1 pressure, looking for the 1v1 inside a wine. Omeri's going to get it. Slides gets the further information. But S-Cubed are still set up for this defensive hold here today.
They're not moving. They
don't need to.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They don't need to at all.
Grenade.
For the ones
oh my gosh.
that need to move forward. Yeah, nice nade from Cuban to take down Neil. Trades galore here. Now 2 versus 3 for Exclusive to try and make this happen. And again, Secret is totally unfazed. Under this construction, has absolutely no reason to move whatsoever. Exclusive are trying to bait these players out into the open. It's just not happening.
Where did that nade come from? See, where did he go? I just had to slide down and try to figure it out the hard way. Good luck with that one. Yeah, Exclusive can't crack the code that is a defense. Cuban just playing off a point of contact. The initial 1v1 off of Omeri certainly helps, but it's the slide afterwards that gets the information, and Cuban just holding on to that nade just to be able to deal with the players inside of wine. It's just absolutely chef's kiss. So you got some splaining to do here, Exclusive. Gonna split the map here in their odds. Kind of maybe try to bait out S-Cube to think that it's going to be a little bit of an A hit. Mobilely is wiser towards it. They're not going to budge away from this A bomb, and Mobilely is in a great spot to be able to back up this BXQ once it comes through.
Yep. Mobilely ready to take out these players. Good trade from Sawo, though, and you're comfortable with that if you're Exclusive. You take that 1-for-1 trade. You've now got site control. This is where you found success thus far in this search and destroy. Cuban still hasn't been dealt with just yet. Target acquired. Target not going to be taken down. Cuban has to run for his life. Bomb still down. On site. SSS losing numbers at every single point of entry, though. And all of it comes down to Omeri. R9 in hand. Exclusive will clock that. Probably going to pick up the Tundra off a dead body, but that's the best chance that Omeri has in this situation. And if it's not Neil with the spear to take him down, it's going to be Veer with the snipes. Again, Exclusive. They look good when they're able to take the sites.
Yeah, so I mean, like, unless like you're strapped for practice here, if you're exclusive, like in trying to break that A defensive stronghold that S-Cube do have for themselves, you just keep going B. S-Cubes are going to go back towards that triple man defense over towards A. Mobilely's not going to try to go over towards that chow towards mid, albeit that's where the nades majorly were headed if you were looking at it from exclusive's POV, but they will go towards the former, like I was talking about. They're just going towards B. They want to win these rounds, Brady.
Yeah, and they're winning the individual fights as well. Chuso and Mobiling removed. How many times are we going to see this now? Exclusives seem to have cracked the code somewhat. They know exactly how to win these rounds out. A bit of a wild card still in play as well. Neil in a position that Omeri took respect. Neil, stop being mean. Sour is going to take that kill away from Neil. No embarrassment to be held here today. Secret and Cuban. 2 versus 5 to try and save this one. Cuban 1 versus 5. It would be a phenomenal play. He's afforded a couple of kills, but no more than that as Exclusive close up shop in that round.
Yep, I mean, the B executes are working. I think it's obvious at this point for Exclusive. Like, all of their offensive round wins, I'm pretty sure, and clock me on this, we're all on the B execute.
Yep.
2 for the aggression. So now they're thinking, surely SQ make the adjustments this time around. And to be fair, they did, but they still have 3 members over towards A. It just may not be the 3 that Exclusive are expecting.
Exact same setup, though. Exclusive, block it. Cuban down for the count. You've got to trade the player underneath. Secret's able to somehow steal away a second kill. Moving Lee's here for the backup now as well. Neil trades things out, so 3 versus 2 in favor of SSS now. Exclusive have got control of the site. Nice kill coming out from Veer as well. Moving Lee down to the count, and now SSS left in a pincer movement here. Players on both sides. And you got to peek out. Chuso does exactly that. Neil trying to escape here. Does not know where the other player is. Looking for a flank here to make this 1 versus 1.
Gotta isolate them somehow. Oh, he's thinking the rewrap's gonna work, but they're stacked together. Gets info on the second, but can't get the transfer. I thought with the USS 9, it was gonna be the gunning for the trick. Yeah, Exclusive on that half just couldn't crack the A defense, man. Like, it's every single time. Omeri wasn't even there this time, and they still couldn't even crack it. Cuban died for first blood, so couldn't even crack it. Exclusive gonna have to figure that one out as we're even as the sides have swapped.
All right, you're SSS. You're very happy taking 3 search and destroy rounds away from Exclusive. Off the start of this one, offensive push is pretty good. That's a wonderful nade from Caesar to trade things out, though. Chuso sniped a little bit better, though. 3 versus 3 we go. Exclusive ensuring they still have presence towards the back of this site. They know that's paramount to keeping control of the round. Big problem for SSS here. That bomb slap bang in the middle of the B site. SSS needs to do something special to get it.
Sure do. Big one for Omari. This is down to a 2v3. So got numbers, but you got to somehow get towards this bomb, and Neil's going for the repass. Like, he wants Omari dead to rights on the slide back over towards bomb. He's not the one he's got to worry about. Wait, name?
No way. Audio cue.
No.
8. Bam! Mobing Lee survives. Now Neil and Veer looking for something special. Neil going to whiff a second shot as well. That should be the position. Real, do you know that the players are at the back of the map? Omeri goes for the pounce, but gets outplayed and outgunned by Neil. Now this becomes dicey. 2 versus 2. SSS still got to defend the bomb for 25 seconds more, and Exclusive are waiting for the peak chows to come through. Veer, fed up awaiting, just going to hit the site now, gets the first kill, Mobingly left alive, and out in the open he is baited. It's perfection in the 2 versus 2 from the sniper duo.
2v2 and a 2v3 down to a 2v2 really quickly. I got the nade information. One's on bomb. Bomb planted. Omeri crossed from the middle of the map, and the post plant had been towards the back, especially once you got that exit in the initial plant. A really good dissection of the information coming through from Exclusive. That was really slick. Definitely helps when you got Neil and Veer, 2 snipers that rarely give up any sort of those angles for free. 1 round lead now for Exclusive off the initial defensive win.
All right. Good start for Exclusive on the defense. I'll say fundamentally, SSS didn't exactly do anything wrong in that round. They just couldn't get Exclusive out the back of the B site. But they have traded up strats regardless. Now hoping that this 8-hit is everything they could want and more. But you got to win this opening engagement. Again, it's not like Exclusive are doing anything particularly special on the defense, but Veer is warning these guys off. You are not welcome in the A site, folks. Go find somewhere else.
Yep. Don't care where you go, but you can't stay here. Except for Caesar, he's playing the one-off angle down low. Exclusive are kind of baiting them into this. I mean, if they get past the scope of Veer, if he misses, there comes the jump. Pico Mary will get that trade. But do they just drop down in towards Arches? Do they drop in towards Caesar's waiting arms? A lot of the clock's been exhausted here, Brody, and I think they're going to pivot over towards B. Got one player to worry about. It's going to be Sawo.
They're not going to check this. They're not going to check this in a month for Sunday. Sawo pick up the first fight. Sawo tearing through another as well. O'Mary stops the bleeding. But there is a hole punctured in the heart of Special Suicide Squad now. O'Mary and Mobingly left up. O'Mary, not much left to do. And Mobingly now on one of the most dastardly flanks. Is it going to get red? Does not have the trigger discipline to wait for the shot versus Neil. They're going to walk away with the fight regardless. This should be a quick trade, but only 10 seconds on the clock. Mobingly does not have time to wait. Has to just hit this. And that urgency leads him right into the not-so-welcome arms of Caesar, who will close things out. Sawo wins that round for Exclusive.
Again, Tunisia, it's just so hard to take one of these sites. That's why you really got to tip it for Exclusive on the offensive rounds that they were able to take. But, man, I tell you, these shots are pretty crispy. Decision-making even that much better fundamentally. Again, S-Cube not doing anything wrong. It's just Exclusive doing it that much better. And look at the adaptation this time around. Giving up B, kind of playing in towards the back. They're going to have a two-man pinch this time around, Brody. May not even matter.
Yep. This round's done. Mobingly dead to right. Exclusive. Quicken up the pace ever so slightly. They want this search and destroy over. I feel like they've kind of led SSS into a false sense of security in a way. They've lulled them into it. Through the first 6 rounds, SSS, they looked competitive. Everything since then has been all looking up for Exclusive. Just one more defense, and this is donezo. SSS once again throwing a different strategy from the playbook. It's going to be a hit through the middle of the map this time. Utility over the top will attack Veer, but it's not going to do much more than that. SSS having to try and sneak their way through, and they're running right into Neil with a sniper rifle. It's a freebie for Neil. Good trade, though. Now SSS bring us down to a 4 versus 4.
And the alarm bell towards Veer rings. It's going to rip the head off a Secret. Now these players are trapped. Timing for Chuzo off the reposition. It's not going to be great. They're being flanked as well. Pinch about to be set up, and there it comes through Caesar for 2. Chuzo versus the world. To stay alive in the search and destroy. He's just being run at by all of the Exclusive members. 7-3 is where the map will conclude. It was a 3-3 half. And then when we got towards Exclusive's defense, just a swift reminder of what side is favored on Tunisia Search and Destroy, Brody. Exclusive reminded us it is most certainly defense.
Yeah, and fair play to SSS for winning 3 rounds off the start. But I think, fundamentally speaking, I've got a feeling that Exclusive weren't exactly pushing them. They were kind of trying a few different things and hoping that they could wear it away. Because fundamentally, the rounds they were able to win on the offense were those 3 B hits. They realized what they needed to do to win B control and win rounds on the offense. So, Exclusive... Just those offensive rounds, fair play. They were kind of just toying with SSS ever so slightly. But on the defense, I mean, SSS just could not crack them no matter what. And it's so difficult to ask that of a roster like them. Exclusive are just so difficult to take down. When Neil and Veer are constantly threatening you with sniper rifle presence towards the back of these sites, there's not really much that you can do. And you see it there in the final stats. Over 10 kills for 4 players on Exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, where Exclusive couldn't crack the AE defense out of S-Cubed, which was phenomenal, by the way. Like their alarm bell off of O'Mary top line for Cuban's nades to be able to always guarantee a pick. It was absolutely chef's kiss, of course, but S-Cube just couldn't crack anything on the offensive side. And again, when it comes down to it, it's the snap adaptations from Exclusive. That's why we highly rate them. That's why they are a championship caliber team. That's why they're still in this tournament, Brody, the number 2 European team, just behind Animus, of course, until we can see what that test looks like for those 2 teams. So it's a 2-0 so far. A pretty convincing day for Exclusive.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Exclusive. I mean, look, they should have been expected to kind of breeze through this group. Again, I personally expected, and there still could be some chance for resistance from SSS in the remainder of this series. But, I mean, Exclusive are just looking a cut above the rest of the competition at the moment, which, again, should not be a surprise. They are considered one of the best in the European region for a reason. And now they want to get things done and dusted here with one more map victory. It will be a control on Crossfire. We saw SSS play this earlier today versus Hexad. And you get a reminder that this is a defensively sided map, as most control maps are, just in general, like especially in COD Mobile, the way the static spawns work, but just generally speaking, they are defensively sided. The reason that SSS beat Hexad earlier today was that offense in round number 1. Can they do that against Exclusive? I don't know. No? Is it going to be a no from me, dog?
I feel like if I'm a wind-up toy and you ask for me to have a turn of 5 phrases, one of them is, I love to be proven wrong.
Well,
I don't think so. Yeah, no, often you'll find the opening too. I don't think so.
Oh boy. A lot of questions, a lot of answers potentially come off the rip here. Exclusive getting aggressive. Nice flank from Omeri though to trade things out. Exclusive have numbers in kind though. And they haven't had any real reason to be repelled from this slow A capture just yet. Veer waits momentarily for a little bit of help coming off the spawn, and Grizz is that help. A capture will now continue as that second dick now going to be through on it. SSS need to act fast if they do not want to lose A off the board. Couple more players on the point, and this point will be done so. Despite the fact that SSS have presence inside the building, they don't actually do anything about that capture.
Yeah, I know you and Ton had this map mode combination earlier, to your point, when S-Cube were last on our screens. But here on Crossfire, like, if you lose the initial break, like, A is pretty much just falling by the wayside. You spawn in a position to run back through B, get the clearance, and then you get inside top apartments, work for the exits, and you get this. S-Cube now in a life lead. Got really good positional advantage for Cuban. He's going to watch some of these players spawn, but he's losing his players and his teammates inside of apartments. Exclusive starting to work their way forward. They got numbers. They can work a little bit of a stack now.
Yeah. Exclusive now starting to push forward here. Looking to get this one done. First tick already about to be through over by B. Attempt to flank from Cuban goes awry, and now all the pressure from SSS to try and retake this point is coming through the front. Just stack it. Core game right about now. 3 more kills coming through. Last remaining couple of players here. Chuso and Mobley up. Can they do anything? Mobley will find Grizz. Chuso also finding a value against Neil now. So they're knocking at the door here. A potential retake. Sliding back and forth. Mobley trying to outwit the opposition. SSS able to get it done, but they've lost yet another tick here, and Exclusive is still not that far away.
Oh, not that far at all. Got a couple operators if you really need it, but KRM in the side here for Omeri. Might have to go for the challenge. 4 lives remaining. Secret finds 2. And you really love the segments here if you are Exclusive, but you gotta be real methodical with how you do work this. Got enough time to be able to get the kills. The question is, are you in any position to do it cleanly enough? So far, not so good so far.
Yeah, I don't think you want to use your operators in this situation. I don't doubt for a second that Exclusive probably could bring one out and get this done, but that decision probably needed to be made already. 2 versus 6. Looks like they're going to try and hope that they can pull this round back from the brink just by sheer force. Hunting down these players. Veer's already just hunted down Cuban, so now SSS down to just the final set of lives. SSS know where these players are located, so it's a waiting game. 30 seconds on the clock here. If Exclusive want to win this, they got to go now.
Just going to be sliding right into the waiting hands of Omeri and Cuban there on the opposite side. I mean, patience be damned. Exclusive could not find a convincing enough kill feed off the exits, but I really got to tip it out of S-Cube right there. I mean, they got the round win, 5 segments to be fair for Exclusive, but the way that they understood, you let the entire A zone fall so that way you can get back inside of Kitchen, get control of the bus station again, and play for the exits. That's exactly what you have to do here on this map mode combination. Now you got operators coming in towards us.
All right. Exclusive off the start of this round. Want to get things going on the defense. A couple of investments from SSS haven't really gone all that well, but now we see kills starting to come through. Sauro, the only one to find any value here for exclusive in the moment. But he immediately pushes up here, and that's not something that Cuban necessarily expected, for that smoke to dissipate and Sauro to be sat all the way in the corner. There is a trade coming through from Chuso, a couple of trades actually, as a matter of fact, from SSS here. Fights going down across the map from SSS to try and garner some sort of control of the map and some sort of semblance of control over a B. Can they actually follow up with any progression, though? Grizz wins the gunfight against O'Mary. Player pushing all the way through here is going to be Secret, and he is going to be literally the secret weapon for SSS. If he can sign some value up here, it is everything for the squad.
A Secret inside a Secret, actually. Just playing inside of that little alleyway in between this and the office. Gonna get information on Neil. No, the timing's not good, though. And S-Cube gonna be bullied out of these power positions, no longer further forward. The halfway mark then gets bottlenecked further all the way past Kitchen, and operators out from exclusive trying to suppress the back 25 seconds of this attempt out of S-Cube when it comes out of the offense. The lives are pretty close, but S-Cube just can barely even get on one of these zones. Finally working on it.
Yeah, it's the time. This is the biggest issue here. 24 seconds on the clock, as you said. SSS now investing in towards this time. Operator coming out from Mobenly. That's going to be the Gravity Vortex gun. Caesar fails the jump up top. That would have been a nice flanking play if it went down, but it now will not. And I think off the back of that, exclusive might well be best served just to let this extra 60 seconds happen. Give up the point towards SSS and hold on towards B. They're going to win the trades in that direction. Currently down 3 lives, though. 1 minute 20 on the clock here. SSS have time to make this work.
And they do. Problem is, exclusive also have enough time to be able to really work a lot of these eliminations on the exit, but hold on. Hey, I mean, like we were talking about, SQ do have not only the numbers, but ample time to be able to work this. Exclusive now with no more respawns. Got to work this defense in this last 50 seconds damn near flawlessly.
Just have to be careful. Don't lose players. Now you've lost one. Down to Chuso and another down to Ameri. Yeah, there's trades in, but they happen beforehand. Couple of exclusive players now off the board. Chuso flanking on towards Neil. There's another one down for the count. There goes Grizz. Exclusive. The hopes and dreams of this round all rest on Via. He's going to fly through for a 1 kill, hoping the element of surprise will win him the round, and it does not. SSS win an offense here on Control versus exclusive.
I mean, they only captured the one zone, but their transition and understanding of these crossfires, pun intended, they're really well played. I mean, this could also just be the play from exclusive, who I'm sure we're watching that first series. Like, play this team that did look fundamentally sound, albeit versus another team that I'm sure that you would run through on a map that's relatively new again in towards the map pool. So there could be some of that. It could be grasping at straws, but SQ just looked fantastic on this map mode combination, being able to turn that offense. No easy feat. This opening break off the trades, ever so patient. Now they rip their own operators, backed by a Predator missile as well, to make sure the lives do not get too far away from them.
Right, 2 ticks through for exclusive here for the moment. Hoping that trades will get them control of one of these 2 points. Cuban on the other side now. Sparrow coming out. Will find value on towards one. Now another one for Cuban. Trade still keeping exclusive here in the conversation. A is gone. Extra 60 seconds now on the board here for exclusive to get something done. You've dealt with a player that was pushed furthest up from SSS as well. So there's still a solid chance here for exclusive to make this capture happen, keep this game alive.
Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, they could extend this towards a Slums hardpoint. Could potentially extend this towards a Coastal Search and Destroy, and who the hell knows? You might be able to win this series. I don't know. I'm here for that. That storyline would be nuts. 18v18. Just got to work towards this one zone. And exclusive have, I feel like, are playing a lot more respectable. And look at how they're playing with their numbers, just always trying to back up, but wow. Special Suicide Squad, so good at isolating. Veer's still alive, finally traded down, but lives still remain even. Exclusive, I don't think they got enough time to be able to get towards the zone and win via lives. They got to get towards the zone, got to stall off this clock somehow, some way.
Exclusive have been knocking at the door, but all these kills haven't really resulted in any map control just yet. A couple of kills from Caesar. Again, buys Exclusive a little bit of map control, but not really enough to do anything just yet. Grizz with the Gravity Vortex gun is not really finding that much. Will spot out Chuso for at least something. So nicely done. Now trying to chase down Secret as well. Secret's going to win that fight, and Mary will actually be the one to get it done. So SSS now winning the fights towards the spawn. Cuban trying to do some damage to the life tally here as well. And all this bear in mind, while there's only 30 seconds on the board for Exclusive to go huge.
Fear feeling the pressure, pulls out the War Machine, goes for a crouch shot, actually damages himself to the point where he's got to give up the angle. The equalizer on the opposite side out of Caesar just to try to find a few more kills. Comes up flat, 2-life lead out of S-Cubed. They can still win here.
Yep, they still can. Sour down for the count. Moblingly going to find that with the Gravity Vortex gun. Death Machine from Neil doesn't do anything. 2 versus 5. It feels like we might be seeing an extension in this series here. Proper Veer can't do anything. And there is life in SSS yet. As they refuse to go down, they win the Crossfire control.
Gotta tip it, man. Again, like their transition from the B zone, even when they got squad wiped on the initial breakoff for Exclusive offense, was just fundamentally sound. I mean, I was ready to run through a brick wall. It was so clean. Like their ability to be able to work back through kitchen, clear the B zone, understand, okay, we got this power position, wait for the other respawns, and then slowly get the apartments back in their favor was just so wisely done. And from there on out, albeit lives maybe close at about 2 advantage at one point, a couple gunfights just fall quickly as Exclusive were so quickly trying to work through these buildings without either double challenging it, playing for the trades, or nading farther forward to be able to clear some of these corners. It just felt like they lost their lives so quickly just by isolating themselves and playing right in towards the defensive stronghold that was S-Cubed. So yeah, extending the series. I mean, this was all of the strong suits that we got to see out of S-Cubed. They are absolutely straight shooters. Chuzo 21-11, 27-15 out of O'Mary. Played this map 3 very well, but is this the start of a reverse sweep? I'm not too sure, but could be something they could rally behind, Shirley.
Yeah, I mean, that is just a phenomenal performance from SSS, and Exclusive, I just think, really did struggle to do anything on the B side. They got A control like a couple of times there, probably, but just when it actually came to transitioning from that B or A site to B site, just nowhere near enough control to actually do anything with it on their offensive efforts. Whereas SSS, I mean, I saw it earlier on today versus Hexad. It turns out it's not a fluke. Like, these guys are really good at playing control, really good at playing as a team, and of course it helps 1-1 players dropping like almost 30 frags in that 3-round game. So as I said, SSS turns out they aren't done yet. They do have some life in them versus Exclusive. Next up though, we go back to Hardpoint, and my worries start to creep in just a little bit more again, because we go back to the start of this series and Exclusive just decimated SSS. Though there was a little bit of resistance on Hardpoint, but there wasn't that much. It certainly never felt like SSS were in any form of control in the game mode. Are we going to see the same thing again here, despite Chain is saying?
Yeah, like, again, we go towards slums, and I don't even remember whose map for this was for a pick per se, but I don't think it matters, because like you were saying, like there was a little bit of resistance in the Hacienda. Fundamentals, like you could talk about like P2 and how fundamental you do need to be when you are playing to the backside. We got that out of the Exclusive towards underdogs, same thing towards 3-4. And hell, you might as well throw 1 in there, because on the day so far, facing against Exclusive on slums doesn't really seem like a good idea. They only gave up 3 points to underdogs. And yeah, I mean, I'll go on a limb and I will truly say that SSS are probably the better team than underdogs, especially what we got to see throughout this series thus far, Brody. But are they going to be able to deal with how good we got to see Grizz throughout the fixtures of slums? I'm not too sure again, but backed off of a 3-0 on Crossfire, Exclusive might be shooken up a little bit. Again, we don't necessarily see them lose maps live until they go up against Animus. So this is a new look for them, especially recently, especially since they did lose to Queens. I think that they were probably thinking to themselves they were done losing maps, knowing that Queens did lose and won't even be in towards this stage of the Snapdragon Pro Series Season 6. But I digress. Gonna have to have it here if you are SSS, just to force it towards that coastal map 5.
Yeah, again, I said it at the top of the series, but has to be said that SSS are not a pushover team. I still necessarily don't expect them to win this game. But SSS are a team that back in UEC were taking maps off the roster of Queens that, of course, did end up beating Exclusive. So SSS, not to be underestimated, and I think have certainly proven their chops, even if this is the final map in this series. But they've shown some hope, in the Crossfire control at the start of this hard point, though. Things not going swimmingly. Exclusive winning pretty much every single open engagement besides a couple. SSS now having to fight back in towards the time.
Exclusive didn't even have the spawns to start, but they get such immediate control up bricks through the middle of the map, and they just kind of linger around. I don't think they were going to expect the pinch to come all the way through, which to SSS's benefit is the reason why they do get the break. But Caesar, off without their initial life, got 7 kills. Predator missile gets called in. They break. They have the favorite spawns again. Right back to business.
Doesn't take much for things to change significantly. You can see SSS making an early investment into those back spawns. Chuso is there, ready to try and ascertain them. Exclusive are on the hunt for the player. Look at those players. The arrows on the minimap swarming to find Chuso. Chuso will finally reveal his position. Neil now looking for the trade. Dippity dive, slide we go. And Neil will finally pick up that frag. Should be said though, back spawns on this hardpoint can sometimes be more of a curse than a gift, because you can get spawn trapped relatively easily on it. But Exclusive, the way that they're playing at the moment here proper, I don't think they're going to have to worry about that. Equalizer's now coming out from Caesar. Will only find one. Now SSS trying to push their way through the front of the hill.
Avir had the read. A's got good coverage. Salu off the respawn. The nade covers. I mean, it's just so picture perfect. The War Machine early out of Veer, 30 seconds left. Might just guarantee it. Does die to Chuzo. These spawns in towards the back are sticky. To your point, if you are SSS, you have never been in a position to maybe try to threaten them. You're more worried of just trying to pressure Exclusive out of the hill from the gut. Finally, one player got through. Was O'Mary, goes 1 for 1. It is just about a damn near full 60 out of Exclusive on this P2. They got operators, same as SSS, who are holding the rotation towards new.
I was going to say that SSS didn't even have any more points at this point in the game than Underdogs did, but now they have. They've got 1 more point, so they're doing better than Underdogs. Achievement unlocked for SSS in this game thus far. And now in control of Dumpster Hardpoint. Chuso with the investment of the War Machine will pick up a couple of frags. Pinstripe kill feed comes through. Ultimately, that is going to favor SSS until somebody from Exclusive can break the deadlock. They're definitely trying with operator after operator. You saw Sour with the Sparrow there, not able to get it done. Neil also losing a crucial gunfight towards the back as well. So as far as crucial fights of a map control and spawn control are concerned, SSS are actually winning out on the vast majority of these. Cuban now investment of the Sparrow towards the front of the hardpoint as well to try and keep Grizz out. Grizz, though, just flies through for this 20 seconds of scrap time. SSS doing a superb job at keeping Exclusive away. O'Mary now pushing out as well for 4 kills in a row. And Exclusive, at some point, you're just going to have to cut your losses here and go towards new.
Yeah, you sure are. And unfortunately, they don't make that decision, at least fully, but it had a Purifier. My secret, it gets ripped, and then he dies. So you go over towards Garage. That Purifier you would have loved to have, especially with where the spawns were for Special Suicide Squad. And now you got to do it the hard way. You got some brick spawns. Exclusive spawning really deep south. They're losing numbers. Good kills. That Purifier actually didn't fully get popped, so Secret still has that, and it is just so crucial towards the break and success, but they don't have the spawns.
All right, SSS can fight this one from the front, though. More operators still in play. Moblingly with the Gravity Vortex gun, pushing through for a couple of kills here. Caesar runs straight into one of those portals. Now Moblingly looking for more just with the USS-9, but Veer is pre-firing through with the War Machine, single-handedly demolishing the opposition. There's another one for Veer as well. How about that for a special operation for Exclusive, taking down the SSS as Exclusive now 15 seconds left on the back of this hardpoint, still vying for this time. O'Mary gonna use the equalizers here for this time. Yeah, you get 3 kills and yeah, you get 10, but I think we're both on the same page as far as, was that really necessary?
I'll go ahead and say no, man. I mean, if we're going from 4 to 1, definitely not like we are, but like from 3 to 4, that would have been nuts, but from 4-1, you guaranteed like what 11 seconds of time, so you're still trailing by 20, but that's gonna grow as Exclusive in that kill feed hasn't seen a blue on the left side in quite some time, and Caesar now has an equalizer just to get the spawns towards new. And I'll have to see if Exclusive can pick up that they are forcing a split spawn, especially with where Caesar did just spawn. Grizz also has an operator to be pulled out. SSS can simply only find kills to maintain P2 spawns. Exclusive have not even given up a single second of hardpoint time here on P1 until now.
20 seconds for SSS still to garner on this hardpoint. You take that. You're also starting to invest to try and keep Exclusive away from this hill as well. Trade, you do take that ultimately. But again, it's worth saying one player has once more slipped the net. Won't be long before Veer gets a chance to actually activate. And no, he's actually going to lose the rotational battle versus Chuso. Now Cuban with the investment against the Sparrow as well. You really would have liked to see more kills, because now those Sparrow kills coming through means that the floodgates have opened for Exclusive to move forward towards this time. And this is what I was talking about with those back spawns. Yes, it's not fully the spawn trap just yet, but SSS will continue to spawn that side. And if you have an operator, they'll be dead to rights.
They're just flooding from the front. They're flooding from the front, and these nades from Cuban, they were coming up short, but they actually work out, and they just make everybody from Exclusive so weak, and it sets up Cuban just to be able to hold this cross, play that anchor roll, but Exclusive still find their way through as Cuban finally enacts the flank back down the staircase, gets a solid angle for 3, and now... well, for S-Cube, the spawns will finally matter. They can get in towards the time, or can they? Exclusive not done fighting this time yet.
Yeah, Exclusive still want to vie for this time. I mean, and why not, right? There's no real reason not to do so. You're very unlikely to flip the spawns for those back spawns at this point in time. They're quite sticky. So SSS will continue to have to contest for this time if they want it, and they're not really getting anything for it. But again, the last couple of hard points have been SSS a way back into this game, but this was the hill last time around where SSS actually had something of note to say. They managed to get 30 to 40 points away from it. Exclusive now getting taken out of the time as well. Umeri comes through, equalizes. Can you find more of it as well? Back spawn still good for Exclusive. Umeri finally silenced, but now that spawn flip is gonna occur. Secret flying in with the Purifier. These are the right kills from SSS. They've broken in, and they could take the lead here.
Yeah, they absolutely can take the lead here. They finally break back in towards the back spawns. Finally, the route man of Mobbingly gets paid, rips the operator away, finds a handful of kills, but they finally get towards those back spawns. But Exclusive, very aware of the situation at hand, Brody. Although the Special Suicide Squad were ripping operators in towards the back, Exclusive still fought for the spawns and are not done contesting the time. They still maintain this 20-point lead. It has been ugly so far, but Cuban's gonna rip the Sparrow, should guarantee the time. The biggest problem is gonna be the spawns now for Exclusive. They can hold this time from the front. They gotta try to fight for these spawns as the garage rotation is about to come upon us.
Just have been loving the operators from SSS over the last few hard points. They've been solid with it, but now no operators to speak of. Exclusive have 2 in the back pocket. At the very least, you're going to take a couple of players down. Cuban, unfortunately, you take yourself out with the Sparrow. Veer now through the front is going to get shut out. Exclusive here looking to try and get some time. Caesar trying to play his life. No, will not win the fight. Cuban following up with more as well. SSS winning all the crucial fights right now to hold on towards this hill, but there's the spawn flip. Exclusive now spawning out towards that fountain side. Neil trying to cut the respawners off from bricks. It's not going to happen. Grizz potentially can do something with the gravity vortex gun here inside this hard point, and doesn't really need to right now because Sawo and Caesar are watching the front of the hard point. Chuso though and Cuban now will provide some kind of contention here for SSS. It does not matter. Exclusive win the engagement. They break in. This 15 seconds of time is worth hitting if you're SSS, especially considering you got the spawns for new, but still, that is a lot of time for Exclusive on that hill.
The nades from SSS were just so pristine from the front. They dealt with the first wave of members from Exclusive, but never inside of the corners. Exclusive just with a bottlenecked hold there on the garage entrance. Put them over 200 points to the 157. Like you said, it was worth to hit the back 15 seconds, but now you got to keep P1 contested, keep P2 spawns, which you haven't been able to do. Both those two things this entire map for thus far if you are SSS, and you got an operator to cut through if you are Exclusive. War Machine invested out from Chuzo. There's the desperation ensuing, but Exclusive are still on the time.
Exclusive looking to try and win out on this hard point. They could still, technically speaking, do it. Via not going to be able to get anything done. Follow up from Grizz also left desiring here for exclusive. Neil, can you get anything done? Yes, you can. Neil, surely not number 3, runs out of bullets. Grizz has to finish off that gunfight versus Secret. Exclusive vying for this time. They still, I believe, get the tick over if they suck up every single second and keep SSS out. No longer the case. The contest will be there, and SSS will guarantee the rotation towards P2. But gunfights being one in the middle of the map here, proper exclusive, going to suck up those last few seconds of time, and Caesar has utilized the equalizers in towards this next hard point. Via also going to bring